Well, good evening, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is the 1122 Wingnut Radio out here for Anarchy Television. And just thought I'd throw a pop up live and see if anybody shows up. Anybody's got something to talk about. Get some smoke going here and maybe all the mosquitoes will go away. What's up, Mike? What is going on, sir? I didn't have anything in particular to talk about, but if anybody that comes in or whatever has got some topics or whatever, we'll throw that in the mix. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do at the moment there, Mike. Matter of fact, I need to hop back inside real quick, like, and grab something and come back out. Polaris, what's going on, sir? Decided to get a fire going and sit out here and chat with you guys. And if anybody does want to come up on panel or whatever, just let me know, and I'll, especially if I know you. If you want to come up, just let me know, and I'll throw the link in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just kind of chilling here, watching, trying to get the fire going, which, I just started it, so, but it shouldn't take long for it to catch. But I also kind of wanted all the smoke around here to kind of, get rid of most of these mosquitoes. I mean, it's late enough. It's 8:48. What's up, Snook? I said this before, Snook, earlier. I was like, if anybody has anything they want to talk about and they want to come up on panel, just let me know. I'll throw the link in. I'm just kind of hanging out for a minute or two. I don't know how long. I mean, I've only got 78% of my battery life, so I can only stay that long, put it that way. Stay outside that long anyway. Otherwise, I got to move this into the house and put the thing on charge. But yeah, Polaris, I mean, I can give a shit what's going on in Ukraine. No worries, Mike. Mad Shad, what's up, my sir? What's happening, sir? Like I said earlier, also for anybody that's just popping in, I'm gonna say it again. If anybody wants to come up on panel, and they got some things they want to talk about, just let me know, and I'll throw the link in. Because I really didn't have anything to like a topic or anything like that. Yeah, I read your comments, Snook. I didn't really have a topic, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on. It just makes me feel like a broken record. because I've been saying a lot of this stuff for so many years. It's like, I get tired of hearing myself say it. So, but um, but I'm also inclined to talk about other subjects. Like hey Shad, if you want to get in on that multi-dimensional dream scenario type topic, I'd love to get into that, man, and try and get a bunch of people on panel on that subject because I think it's an interesting subject in my opinion. But because I've been meaning to actually do a live um, on that subject, multi dimensions and many worlds theory. You know, what dreams are, what is reality? All these scenarios because even though I love talking about um, politics and religion, to me it just gets old. Like I said, I have these conversations with so many people all the time, and you know, there just comes a time, man. I'm just like, let's talk about something else. Something else. You know, I don't know. Because I mean, you look at the religious part of it. If people don't really think there's other life on other planets or under other dimensions, you know, what makes anybody say that the make believe uh, God up in the heavens is real? If life on other planets or other realms or other stuff isn't, you know what I mean? You don't understand what I'm talking about, Snook? Right on. Oh yeah. Hey Snook, feel free to drop anybody's link in there. I mean, you know, um, Mad Shad is definitely a content creator that I enjoy. I I respect because I think he's a genuine type of man. I don't see him as a fake person. Mike is definitely another one of those people. Mike definitely. I mean, even me and Mike might disagree on certain things, but I still think he's a good one. You know, so uh, that's the thing about perspective. Everybody has their own idea of what reality is and what their definition of reality is. I appreciate you, Snooks. You know, but and this is another odd thing. For a little while there, I was making these videos of these little lights up in the sky that are moving around. What I have found interesting in the past 3 or 4 days now, I haven't seen any. I mean, for like a couple of weeks straight. I mean, I can come out at all matters of the time of the night. From when the sun just went down all the way up to the point of sun coming up. In that whole time, I was able to see every fucking night at least one of those little dots up in the sky moving around. But for the past 3 nights, I haven't seen none. So I'm not sure. Well, okay, yeah, yeah. Well, fair enough. Chad, I will say fair enough. I will say fair enough to that statement right there. You know, God's firmament. What's going on? ranting, ranting of a madman. You know, we're all mad here. We're all mad here. Everyone floats down here. That's the yeah, that's the thing. We're all mad here. Well, you know, um, Snooks, I mean, there are times that I can get long-winded. I do understand that. You know, I mean, especially if it's just here, me, myself, and I talking to you guys in the chat. I mean, then it's like, I'm talking to you guys, but there's nobody in the panel to feedback off of, and for me to shut up and listen to the other side. So if it's just me in here on the panel, for instance, and I go in on something, rant, if you would, yeah, it might get long winded, simply because, I do I have had things to say over the years, and a lot of times I I a lot of times that I'm sorry, I got distracted for a second, but there are times, man, um, like I said earlier, it's just like there are times, man, I get tired of saying the same thing over and over again because there's a part of me that feels like there's nobody listening. There might be some people out there listening, but I'm not really sure if they're actually hearing what I'm saying. They're not, it might go in one ear and out the other, which is a totally okay, for information to go in one ear and out the other. I personally would like that information to go in one ear and then kind of circle around inside your noodle for a minute and make you think about it. And then if it goes out the other ear, fine, whatever. But the goal was to actually make you think. Um, it's kind of like some of the memes that I put on my community tab. I may or may not agree with what the meme says, but it provokes thought. It provokes conversation. Sunfish, what's up? And that's basically what I'm trying to do. Here, I'm gonna switch my camera to the vertical simply so I can see the chat better. Because when it's in the horizontal, I can only see one comment at a time. Okay, here we go. There we go. Now I can see at least three. Yeah, that's my pup right there. That's a little bit right there. He's chewing on a bone or something. Now I can see like two or three comments at a time, which is good. But you know, I am gonna have to go inside the house real quick, like and grab something, and then I'll come right back out. So you guys sit there and enjoy the fire for a second. All right, I'm back. $5 on the barrel. At one time, I mean, if I gave me a plasma cutter, which would make it a lot easier to do, but I was, because the way I made this fire pit, um, this is like just one end of a propane tank. That's just one end of it. I've got the other end as another fire pit somewhere else, and I use the body of the propane tank as my burn barrel, like to burn all my trash. Auction over. You were trying to sell my duck. You trying trying to trying to sell my burn pit out from underneath me. I see how it is. But what I was sitting there thinking about, um, um, is actually, because I mean, every once in a while I can come across these big lay down propane tanks that people don't want, and and if I had a plasma cutter, it'd make it a lot easier. You know what I mean? Versus like a side grinder or something. But what I was sitting there thinking about doing is that just making little fire pits out of the two ends, and then making burn barrels out of the body of them and selling them as that. You know what I mean? Um, but like I said, I was like, um, just using a side grinder. Actually, I mean, it works fine for me as it is. Just to make something up for myself. But if I was to do it for like, more of a stuff to, to make more of to sell, like I said, Moon 2, is that you, Bright? Moon 2, is that you, Bright? It looks like Bright in the way he text his his comments in chat. Oh, Snooks, you want the link? Okay, hold on. Right on. Okay, I thought it was you, Bright. Now, I didn't bring my headphones out, so hopefully the audio and all that stuff is fine, and all that stuff. What's going on, Snook? Can you hear me good?
Yes, I hear you just fine. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
I'm not
If anybody can tell me in the chat if there's an echo or anything like that, just let me know. If there is, I'll just go get my headphones.
I'm not too loud, am I?
No,
God, you
you
sound like
know,
it was a chore giving me the link.
well, because I'm distracted.
Sorry, I almost dropped my bottle of water. Distracted? You're always distracted.
Well,
What's distracting you now?
well,
Well,
right at this very moment, I'm hearing raindrops on the top of my tin roof, which is not
oh,
good. Then I'm going to have to move back a little bit.
oh. Hi there, Mad Shad. Hi there, Un, Unu. What is it? How do you say it?
Oh,
Unu 2?
yeah, that dude, his name's Bright. That's his name.
Okay, Bright. That's a lot easier. Holy skunk. Hello.
Thanks, Mad Shad. I appreciate it.
Um, I said this is like the last time I got up and talked to you. We were sitting around a fire. Isn't it too hot?
No, because I mean, and then the main reason why is because of the mosquitoes. I wanted the smoke to kind of get rid of the mosquitoes. That's the main
You
reason
know I'm
why I
better
got
at,
it started.
sorry, you know I'm better at talking politics, but I'm willing to listen to you. I like being on a panel with you, because you and a lot of people say things that I'm totally don't understand, but I always keep my mind open.
All right.
Well, you are a little strange.
We're all mad here.
I'm just batshite crazy.
Right. I hear
That's
you.
all.
All,
Yeah.
all women are crazy anyway.
You're insane. You're just
No, all,
effing insane.
all,
That's all
all
there is
women are
to it.
crazy. They're just different levels of crazy. That's all.
I'm at a level 7, thank you.
Is that right?
Yes, I am. I just don't want to reach 10. Oh, give your doggies love for me.
Yeah. She's sitting there chewing on something. I don't know what she's chewing on.
All right, start talking about something that interests you and I'll try and get into it.
Well, I mean, when I saw Shad come in, it kind of reminded me of one of those last videos I did, and I was talking about dreams
Hmm.
and the theory of the multi dimensions and many worlds and stuff like that, and and how and what is reality? What is reality? I mean, and I guess it depends on your definition of reality, what it is. But then, is there any objective?
Well, explain the dimensions to me because I don't think I was at that one, or if I was busy in the chat if it was indies.
No, it wasn't a live. It was just a video I put out
Oh,
talking about a dream of mine that
okay. Oh, God, I think I saw that.
well, it was a dream that I had where my mother in the dream, which
Yep.
who I thought was my mother, we went to a party, and I hope that rain doesn't get too loud because it's starting to come down on a tin roof. But anyway, um, you know, um, I had this dream, and it was like I was looking through my own eyes,
Hmm.
and I've had dreams that are like this, like really vivid dreams of people and places that I do not recognize. Uh, but yet, all the people I come in contact with in the dream, they, uh, you know, they seem to know me. They seem to have known me for a long time. But yet, you know, uh, 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 these people that I see in my dream, I don't recognize them. They don't
Hmm.
look familiar to me.
But they
You know what I'm
recognize
saying?
you somehow.
But they recognize me like I've been around. Like they've known me for a very long time.
Hmm.
And the reason why I went into like the multi dimensions or the many worlds thing, like there's many versions of this world that we're on right now, just slightly different or whatever, but all happening simultaneously right now with us.
Is that what you
Like
think? I mean,
many
that's really
many
what
ver-
you
many
think.
many versions of us all playing it out. That's why I say that nothing. Uh, well, I mean, everything has and everything that has and will be has already happened. You know what I mean? So it's like it may not have played out here on this world, but it's probably played out on another world. You know what I mean? All simultaneously right now with us.
Mm-hmm.
I have more questions about it than I have um, objective reality. I burnt my finger. Subjective reality. I have no fingers. Well, it kind of reminds me of the Matrix thing. It's like try not to bend the spoon. You just gotta realize the truth. There is no spoon.
Yeah,
You
but
know what
I
I'm
want to
saying?
know how you come to all of these different conclusions that you come to. It's like your mind is just going in so many different paths.
Well, my mind is a spider web. So I mean, but they're all
Yeah,
all all
yeah.
the all the little points are connected.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a good
It's
way
just,
to put it.
right. Well, the reason why I go into this type of thinking is because I start thinking about like, shit, I didn't know it was going to rain. Hopefully it doesn't get too hard. But anyway, um, you know, there's a lot of physicists out there that have come to the conclusion that there are many dimensions or many worlds all happening at the same time. And you get into the quantum level, it confirms that in a sense. So I start thinking about, um, like the speed of thought. To me, the speed of thought is instantaneous and it has no limit for distance. So,
Is there a speed of thought?
yeah,
Huh. I don't think I ever thought
it's
about. I
just,
don't. I
it's,
never thought
it,
about that.
it's, it's never been quantified or measured, but it's instantaneous. But the thing is like, on the quantum level, if you get down to it, there is, uh, um, points that are here and somewhere else at the exact same time,
Hmm.
and they correlate with each other in a sense. It's like whatever happens here happens to the other one wherever it is, like billions and billions of light years away or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I start thinking about, just the on that level, for instance, the connection, kind of like, people say that we have this, collective subconscious. All right. And if we on this world are connected subconsciously, I guess you would call it, um, then therefore we would be connected to our other selves in those other realms or those other worlds.
Well, isn't it said that we all have a doppelganger in the world?
Well, and then it quite possibly could be. I mean, but that's not a natural thing. I don't think so, because doppelganger, I don't think like a true doppelganger. I don't think would exist or could exist in the same plane that we are living in.
Hmm.
There wouldn't be a duplicate of me floating around on this world naturally. Um, So I think, there is a possibility of that doppelganger, but the only problem is they are existing on another plane or another verse. Um, and if they happen to make their way or got pulled into this realm, then that's another story.
Hmm.
But it makes me wonder, like for instance, the dreams that I've had, these really vivid dreams, the ones that really make an impression on my mind, and I continue to remember them years after the fact. Because there's a lot of dreams.
Do you
I
look on
mean, it's
these?
like almost
Let me just ask you, do you look on these dreams as bad dreams or just dreams?
no,
Like, do they scare
no,
you?
no, no. There's
Oh,
only
okay,
been a
good.
couple. There's only been a couple of dreams that have gotten me to the point where I basically, um, I guess you call it scared, but I scared me awake, scared
Hmm.
me to open my eyes and wake up.
Yeah, I've had those
Um,
dreams.
I mean, I've had one where I felt like I was being chased by something. I had one where it felt like a spirit was sitting on my chest and was breathing my breath out, was like sucking my life out of me, and I
Whoa.
woke up gasping for air, like I was suffocating. Um, I remember that one really well too because I remember I was in a house. I was like staying at somebody's house, and they had the only room that was open was this like a guest bedroom that they had that was in the basement. But they didn't tell me until after I started getting comfortable in the room that the house is haunted. And I was like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I remember, um, it, you know, getting to a point where I was going to go to sleep. And this, what I thought in the dream was a ghost, came and sat on my chest and started sucking. like the air out of my lungs, and it it jolted me to the point where I gasped for air as I woke up, like I was being suffocated. Um,
Hmm.
but
So do you believe in haunted houses? Do you believe in ghosts or spirits?
well, I'll tell you this. I have had some. Well, see, that's another thing. See, I don't believe anything. What I know
Hmm.
is that there are um, that that spark. There is that spark that we have inside us that people call the soul. That spark that keeps this physical form going. Once it leaves this physical form, it continues on. Some of them linger. Some of them move on.
Oh, so
Um,
you think some of those sparks do linger on Earth, but you don't believe in heaven or God, right? So where do you think
well,
the rest of them go? This is interesting.
because like I said, I'm not a I don't subscribe to like the organized religion that is around. Because I mean, because quite honestly,
Well,
the way I see the creator is Mother Nature and Father Time, and the marriage, the union between them, is what created all creation.
mhm.
So uh, that spark always goes back to the collective, and then it gets
Mhm.
recycled, and then that's where past, present, and future lives come into play.
Okay, well, I have a very strong faith in God, and if you believe in God, then there is no Mother Nature, and there is no, what was the other part? Father Time?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that would not ever happen. But I'm very, I think what you're talking about is very interesting. I don't rule out anything. I just always keep my faith in God. But I don't
Well,
rule out other things, I feel like there are spirits. I feel those sparks, so I can kind of understand that portion of it.
well, for me, when I was, excuse me,
Why don't you just choke? Shad, you ought to come up here.
when I was when I was on my walkabout for 10 years,
Yeah.
um, um, there was a lot of truth that was shown to me in that time, and I'm still, in a sense, on that walkabout. I just been stationary for a long time,
But
but
mentally, you're still on that walkabout.
yeah, because I mean,
Yeah,
honestly, if I'll be dead and buried when I stop learning.
I
Um,
like that. But I like
but
that. I like that you always want to learn.
well, and that's and you know that's another thing that drives me nuts about one of the things about the Bible is why would God make the tree of knowledge forbidden? And why would some father figure put a damn tree out there in the middle of the damn yard where all his fucking his children are roaming around, you know, knowing damn well, them damn children are gonna fucking do something with that tree. I mean, that's like a irresponsible father, in my opinion. But
You
whatever.
know what? I've never read the Bible, so I am not Bible based or Bible versed.
Right. Well, see, that to me. All right, that to me is a problem in a lot of people that claim to be on this. On that believe in certain things. You know, if you don't know it, pretty much what was written. Um, uh, how can you say that you believe in it? Because I mean, there might be things in there that you might not agree with. But
I'm sure there would be, and I got to tell you, I don't believe in organized religion either. I don't remember if I've told you that or you ever heard me say that. I don't believe in organized religion. For me, wherever I am, God is. I don't have to be in a church for God to be there.
well, that's true
For
because I
me,
mean, God doesn't need a building. God doesn't write
no,
books, and I mean that
no.
kind of thing.
He
I
doesn't
mean,
need the donations. He doesn't need, and the
right,
10% tithing part, you've got to tithe 10%. I don't like anybody telling me what I need to donate if I'm in a church.
right. No,
I there's just a lot of things I don't like about churches and stuff and organized religion, so I just don't even go there. But I do believe that the spiritual and a belief in God can go hand in hand. You still
Well,
there? You still there? Did I like shut you
no,
down
I
or
was sitting there,
something?
I was fiddling with the fire.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm trying to get the flame going again. But no, I mean, it's um, I
I know you didn't want to talk about religion. It's okay.
well, see, this is the thing. Um, I I can, for me, the how I see the creator, I
Hmm.
can see the evidence of the creator everywhere I look.
Hmm.
Mother Nature was the part of the creation, part of the he was the one that started things. All right, and Father Time is what keeps it going. All right.
Who made humans originally?
Well, that to me is interesting because
Yeah.
well, you can't get something out of nothing. All right, now either we as a species started as a species from the beginning, like everything else,
What kind of
or
species?
well, that's the human species. Let me
Okay.
clarify. All right. Yeah. Versus like the lizard people, which who I think actually, from what I hear, the lizard people taste like chicken. What's up,
Okay.
Craig?
I
What's
don't
up,
believe
kid?
in lizard people. I think that whole theory is ridiculous.
Well, the thing is, it's like okay, there's a lot of people, including people in government and all that stuff, that um, have come out publicly saying that there are up to 7 different species other than human that are not from this planet living on this planet.
And have they
All right.
seen them? And how do they have proof?
But yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, there, I mean, even like, just recently the congressional hearing or whatever, when they were talking about UFOs or the new term of them, and they've actually said yes, they've retrieved vehicles and biologics, which is like the pilot of these things. Um,
But they don't ever show it.
well, of course not, because you know why?
Why?
Well,
That's what I want to know. Why?
because it would destroy the narrative because they want this organized religion, this idea of government, which is a religion, to keep on going because they control the narrative. And the narrative would be destroyed if there were actually and proof of other life on other planets or dimensions that have been coming here and are here.
Well,
Because honestly, that's the reason why there's so many archaeological sites that do not get explored or get shut down before a major archaeological type of stuff goes on, because they don't want that narrative of there are other things or other beings that have been here before and still here, because the past civilizations have documented this stuff over, but they don't want that, even that information, the documentation of that, even getting out into the public, because that just ruins the narrative. They
well, you
don't,
know how I
you
feel.
know,
Show the proof and let us make our own narrative.
well, that's not, they don't consider you
To be
in
smart enough?
be smart enough. They think you're stupid and you need
Yeah,
to be
well,
told what to think.
then they should come talk to me and they'd find out I'm not stupid.
Well, I understand that.
No, I know. I'm just throwing that
You
out
know,
there.
no, I'm the same way. I mean, if they really wanted to have this conversation, I would love to get all these supposed people, the powers that should not be, in one room, pump them full of LSD, and then have a nice chat with them.
No, I don't want the acid.
Well, no,
That's
that
not
would.
gonna, that
I
wouldn't,
think
you're
that
not
would
gonna get
be.
the truth.
I think, and then, well, you have to pass a blunt around at the same time. You know.
That's not gonna mellow them out. I have
Yeah.
dropped acid. I make no sense at all.
Well, like I said, I think that to me would be the good conversation, because
It'd be interesting.
they would not be on that elevated stoop stool that they stand on looking down at us. They'd be on an equal playing field.
That makes a good
And
point. Okay, I'm going to agree with you on that.
because the ones that are the powers that should not be, they don't give a shit about us, man. I mean, literally, they don't give a shit about us. They
Not
look
talking
at
about the
us like
government. Are you talking about the
I'm
government
talking. I'm
hierarchy?
talking about the powers that should not be, and the government falls into that because if you actually realize this, if you do the numbers, let's say there's a little over 700 millionaires in the United States of America. And those over 700 millionaires together have 50% more influence over the government than every single voting person in the voting populace of this fucking country.
Hmm.
So who's really in control of the government? And then on top of that, it's a religion. Government is a religion. It has its own belief system, its own language, its own enforcement.
Who is
It's
in
a
control of the
religion.
government? Back up for a
Well,
minute.
and all governments were started by religion. Everything, because back in the day we had emperors running the empire, and then we had kingdoms run by kings. Now we have countries run by cunts. It's just, that's
I
just
wish you
it.
wouldn't use that word. You're not in England or Australia.
It doesn't matter.
I don't like.
I'm using it in the derogatory term.
Real, I know.
I'm using in that in the correct American term because that's exactly what's going on. Because I mean, seriously, it's unfortunate. Every once in a while I get glimmers of hope. Literally, I don't
Okay,
really hope. I don't really hope for things either. That's just, that to me is on the same level as belief.
see, I stay hope and faith strong every single day because
Well,
for
see,
me, that's the only way I can get out of bed and live each day.
well, like I said, to each their own, and each of us need a different thing to get us
Well,
up in the
yeah,
morning. All
yeah.
right, but the thing is to me, in my life experiences, in my personal way, I have seen that hope, faith, and belief is an empty concept. There's nothing to tangible to grab hold of. All right. And,
Uh,
you
yeah,
know,
but okay, okay. But I wanted to ask you, so who's the power behind the government? You said,
well, to begin
who do you
with,
think?
like I said, it's like, there's 700 millionaires that have 50% more influence over the government than the whole entire voting populace. Now, that's just one. But then you got the EU, you got NATO, you got the UN, you
Uh,
got the Trilateral Commission, you got the Institute of Foreign Affairs, the Royal Institute of International Affairs, the fucking WHO, the WEF, the Bilderberg Group. I mean, shit, that's just to name a few. Like hell, BlackRock. That's just to name a few that are in control of the world, and that's not just it's just America. That's everywhere. All right,
yeah, I do
and
believe, yeah, I do believe in all that, that there are the
well, and see, that's another thing.
billionaire billionaires that
It's
are yeah,
documented proof. Vanguard is another one. Craig, thank you. Vanguard, Iron State Street. That's another one. But I'm just saying
yeah.
that's documented proof. You don't have to believe it or not. That's an objective truth. Okay. The thing is, it's like, see, this is the thing about belief to me. All right, belief is always in conflict with and the enemy of knowing. Belief, you cannot argue somebody's belief. You cannot question somebody's belief. All right, because belief comes individual, and that's what they believe. That's it. There's
No,
nothing.
but no,
There's
beliefs can
nothing
be
objective.
changed. Beliefs
But I'm
can be
saying though,
changed.
that's the reason why it's all subjective. It's not objective. All
What
right,
is the difference between objective and subjective?
subjective is like something that let me try and figure out how to put this in words. I know objective is like, for instance, like Craig was, I mean, what Shad was saying earlier. I stick my hand in that fire, my hand's going to get burnt. That's
Hmm.
going to be an objective truth right there. All right.
Okay.
Now, subjective is more like, does the fire even exist? Or I don't believe the fire is even there. I
Yeah,
don't
but you can see
believe,
that it's there.
but I don't believe I'll even feel the pain if I stuck my hand in that. You
I'm
can
looking at
believe that all
fact
you
and
want,
no, but
but
you're talking about fact and non-fact.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's objective and subjective. All right. You know, that's the thing. It's like, we've been lied to for, for generations. It's not just on our generation. It's the ones that came before us that have been lied to and hoodwinked into believing into this fiction, this idea of a fantasy world they want to bring into reality. All right. And this fantasy world is exactly what that is. It's a fiction. All right. Even you get down to like all that crappy crap about fucking social security number and a fucking birth certificate. That's exactly what that is. All right. When your mother signed the birth certificate, she was handing over the flesh and blood as dead to the government, where they created a straw man, which is a legal fiction called your is called your name in all capital letters. That is a legal fiction, and they've traded on that ever since you were born in the International Stock Exchange, because they consider you a prophet. They've
How,
actually, ever since what
wait a minute. How
this
does the
what
okay? How does the stock market come into this?
Well, because your name, that when they created that name in all capital letters, it goes on your birth certificate, your fucking social security card, any legal documentation, you'll notice your name in all capital letters. If you know anything
I
about
don't know if
grammar,
it. I have my birth certificate. I'll have to take a look and see.
look at it, it will be in all capital letters. Now, if you look
Hmm.
at actual grammar, nothing exists in all capital letters. It's a fiction. All right.
Hmm.
When you write your name, you might write with the capital letter, the first letter, and then lowercase for the rest, right?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. Exactly.
that's how natural blood, man or woman signs their, does their signature. All right, that's
Yeah.
their signature. Nobody. The legal fiction is what the government created when they created the birth certificate and the social security card. That legal fiction is the only thing they have jurisdiction over. That's why they want everyone to believe that that legal fiction is the same as the living, breathing blood man or woman, because they technically don't have jurisdiction over us. They only have jurisdiction over that piece of paper because they
So if it
created it.
okay, so if it wasn't in capital letters, it wouldn't be as bad. I mean, don't you have to have birth certificates so that you know that this person was
We
born
did
and then you
we
know
did
that
fine without
person
birth certificates.
died?
We did just fine without birth certificates before it was created in, was it 1918? Because you know what we
Hmm.
used to do back in the day? We used to write all that genealogy stuff in the back of our Bibles,
Or yeah, or in the front of the Bibles. You're
or
right
wherever.
there.
But that's the thing. That's where even my granddad, when he was alive, when he was tracing family trees, majority of the time we wouldn't go through legal records. We would have to go through people's Bibles to find out who was what and where and all that stuff, because they didn't have that back then. All right.
Yeah,
And
but
we did just fine. The only reason why the government wants
yeah, but then we
everyone
moved
to,
on and not everybody owns Bibles.
I understand that, but that's the thing, though. That's how we, as a people, kept up with. That's one way. That's not the only way, but that's one way that we kept up with our genealogy. All right. But the
Yeah,
thing
you're
is
right.
the only reason why the government created the birth certificate and Social Security and all that other shit, is to create revenue from you, because the federal government went bankrupt and they needed somebody to take up the debt. So they made all of us, using the 13th and 16th Amendment, they used all of us as collateral or a surety for that debt that they created. That's why you are in debt from the moment you are born until even after you die.
That's so interesting. What is the 13th and 16th Amendment? Because I don't know.
Oh shit! I can't. I don't know it right off,
Okay,
verbatim off the top of my head.
but they
But
stay registered in your brain for a reason, those particular numbers, so they
yes,
must mean something.
yes.
That's
But
interesting.
and it comes down to, like, when they were talking about freeing the slaves back in the Civil War and all that shit. The Civil War wasn't over slavery or to abolish slavery. That wasn't not the reason. That just happened to be a side effect that made political good sense.
Yeah,
The
I knew
thing
that.
is the reason why is because we down here in the South, we're getting overtaxed by the motherfuckers up there in the North. That's why it was called the War of the Northern Aggression.
Hmm.
is because these motherfuckers up north thought they could use us as slaves.
Hmm.
Well, when they created everything after the 10th Amendment, really is just bullshit that the fucking government put in there to benefit the government. All right. The first
Yeah.
10 amendments is actually what we, the people, our natural rights that need to be protected and ensured by the government. And that's what that's supposed to be. The only problem is we don't have a punishment, evidently, for government violating these rights. They do it daily, using cops, using the court system, using the prosecutors, the cops, the fucking judges. They all work for the same entity. They all get their paychecks from the same thing. And it's a
Uh,
conflict of interest, and all they care about is revenue. They don't give a shit about rehabilitation. They don't give a shit about having peace and safety. Because if there's no safety and peace in people's minds, that justifies having cops out there or national security, national guard out there on the roads. That's what justifies their actions in doing this.
do you believe
Because
that there's anybody
what?
good in the government, or there's anybody good in, well, I'm not going to say cops, but anyway, do you think that there's anybody or any people that are good that are in the government?
Okay, put it this way.
Or are
Uh,
they all, every single one of them is corrupt? And I'm just
put it
questioning you. I'm not insulting you.
put it this way. All right, now I believe there are good people. Period. All
Mm-hmm.
right, and then but the thing is once you are on the clock, you are no longer a good person. All right.
So,
You can
so,
be a good person like normally and off the clock and all that stuff. That people are like that. There are good people out there. Tend to their family, very good to their kids, blah, 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 blah. But once you put on that badge or you clock
oh,
in,
okay. You're talking about the government. Okay.
yeah,
Thought you
I'm
were talking
talking
about
about
just
them.
normal everyday
No,
people who have to clock in or time
I'm
in.
no, I'm
Okay.
talking
Just
about
wondered.
government.
Okay.
Every and then you got to understand there's I don't know, I can't remember how many million people in this fucking country. And you got to understand there's like 3 million of those all work for the government, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's also that conflict of interest because you got government voting for itself, you
Oh,
know,
that's true. That's
and
true.
then you got to understand that, you know, um, these people are technically welfare recipients because, and, but what they ended up doing, the government as a whole, extorts us from our time, labor, and money that we earn for ourselves and extorts that out of us in the form of taxes to keep the government going. Because there was nothing, no infrastructure, no nothing that was built in this country that somebody wasn't doing it for profit.
Okay, but if we did not pay taxes, what would we have for roads and for electricity,
Okay, do you know where
telephone,
the
the
okay,
grid? What would we have?
let me ask you a question. Do you know what tax pays for the roads?
Oh, I have no idea.
Your gas tax.
Oh, listen, when
The-
it comes to
the-
that kind of thing, you're way above me in your knowledge of it. I have no
well,
problem
no,
saying
I'm
that.
just asking because I mean I hear
No,
that
I
argument
don't.
I hear the roads argument a lot because like I said, I lean toward anarchy and anarchism and there is no government involved. So
No,
I
I
lean
didn't know
toward
that.
that.
I knew that.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, for instance, the tax that you pay when you pay for gas, that is what actually pays for roads or the upkeep of roads. Okay, that's where the costs or the monies to pay for that. That's where it comes from. So I'm talking about all kinds of other stuff. There's so many other taxes in every facet of our life, and we've supposedly fought a war over 2% tax. We're
Hmm.
being taxed almost 60% of our fucking income or our total bring home shit. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's 60%. I mean, hell, what's going to stop them from taking 100% of it?
Okay, if you don't have a government and you don't have somebody leading, let's say the United States, who don't you have a complete breakdown where people are just killing each other and going into houses and stealing whatever they want to steal and doing what they want, which is kind of what they're doing right now, but like on a
No,
mass
well, okay, the
scale.
difference. The difference that would be in that scenario, for instance. Okay, like for instance, like what you said. Yeah, it's kind of happening now, right? So okay, yeah, all right.
Mm, yeah, it
But the
is.
difference would be that I wouldn't be criminalized if I shot that motherfucker who's trying to rob my house or hurt me or whatever. I wouldn't even have, there wouldn't, nobody would bat an eye because they know that was a justified killing.
So
All
you're
right.
talking about everybody self rules themselves.
Yes, that's just how it was. That's how we were supposed to be from the
Well, it's
beginning. Back
that's
when
never
the
going to
fit,
work.
and well, see, I mean, that was the thing. That was how this country was supposed to be. Is where we can govern ourselves. That there, it's not to say that anarchy has no rules. Anarchy does have rules.
And who is the
Um,
head of anarchy?
well, there is no head.
That's the
That's why
problem.
that's why it's better because in all battles against another superpower, the best way to defeat that is cut the head off the snake. Cut the head off
No,
the snake, and then the rest of the body dies. They
eh,
they consider that in like every battle through history. That is their main thing. It's like to topple the queen in the fucking chess game. If
but
there's
there's
if
always
there's
the but wait a minute, there's always the babies growing up to take her place.
what I'm saying though
Or
is
take the head snake's place. There's always
well,
babies
I mean,
growing
well,
up.
yeah, it's kind of like a hydra. You cut one head off and two more pop up. Well,
Absolutely.
well, the thing is, if there's like on a chessboard, instead of having just one queen, what if the whole fucking board was queens?
Hell no.
How would you defeat a whole board of queens versus just one queen?
Oh, I take all those bitches out.
But I'm saying though, it, if there's if everybody was a wolf versus a sheep, we'd be
Yeah.
better off, in my opinion.
Well,
Um,
no, because then the wolves are going to attack each other.
but I know there are
Because you have
people
to
out
have
there that,
alpha males and
well,
you have alpha
I
females.
understand there are people that want to be sheep because they want to be told what to do. They like the comfortableness of the strictness of that. They feel comfortable in that because it's like a blanket around them that that control in their life, telling them what to do, what to think, what to eat, everything. You know what I mean? Then they don't have to think for themselves because that's scary to some people.
Well,
I
and
mean,
let me
I
point, let
see
me
it all the
just,
time. I see
yeah,
it all
let me,
the time. People aren't able to have critical thinking and think for themselves. No, they'll sit there and read it shit off of a goddamn cell phone or repeat exactly what Chat GPT said.
okay,
Fuck that shit.
let me interject something. I have seen that kind of thing in people who work for businesses. They
Mhm.
could get promotions, but they don't want the promotions because it's more responsibility, it's more work, it's more stress. So they'd rather stay in a lowered position, not get the higher pay because they are sheep. So that's an example of it.
Well, I mean,
Do you
like I
see what I
said, I mean,
mean?
if I was to go back to the movie The Matrix, for instance, there are people that want to stay in the Matrix. All right, their life seems better off in the Matrix than it would be to actually awaken from the Matrix and live in the real world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wouldn't
Um,
like that.
well,
I like
there
the real
there
world.
are people that want that in their life.
Oh.
They want that because they're benefiting from it. For instance, if you were in the Matrix and you were a millionaire or a movie star or something like that and having a best time of the life, would you want to wake up and come to the fucking real world? No, you'd want to stay
No,
there
wait a
because
minute.
you're
No,
benefiting.
no,
You
I
know,
would want to come to the real world because I want the challenge of daily living.
well,
I
that
want
may be.
challenge. I want to
But
be
you
challenged.
but you think about how we've been raised for generations on when it comes down to always looking up to the fucking Joneses or and all this other shit. It's like, oh, the grass is always greener on the other side, blah blah blah. you know
Okay, well, the
we've been
difference with me is that I was raised by a man who was in the Navy for 20 years. It makes a huge difference. We didn't look at the grass as always greener. We lived on our, as we could. We didn't ever
well,
live beyond our means. So I was raised much differently, and that's why my thought process is different. I want challenges in life. I don't want to,
right.
I would never want to be a millionaire.
All right, but you've seen the movie The Matrix, right? The first,
I only think I
at
only
least the
saw the
first one.
first one.
Okay, the first one is the most important one anyway. That's the
Yeah, it
one I'm
is.
thinking about when I'm thinking about it. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's say, waking up in the real world would be like, oh shit, now I'm on this fucking floating ship out in the middle of, underground because the top of it has been destroyed and being taken over by Terminator. You know what I'm saying? Uh, would you, and you knew that was what was waiting for you if you woke up, would you still want to stay in the Matrix or wake up?
No, I'd want to wake up because I want the
Okay.
challenge of getting away from it or defeating it or, you know, working with
Well,
it
see,
or
that's the
whatever.
thing.
No, I don't want to live in a dream world.
Well, I understand. Okay, but I would say a lot of people would stay in the matrix if they're
Mm-hmm.
benefiting from it like that. They want
Because
that to
they want to
continue.
live safely.
Right, because they're like they're making bukus of money, or their life is good and all that. Why wake up in the real world when you've got this fucking fantasy world that's treating you good?
That's
That's where
just
a
it.
lot of
See,
people would
no,
be. A lot of people would have that thing. They would stay in it because of
no,
that.
you're absolutely right. I'm not into living in a fantasy world. I like my reality. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good, and sometimes it's great, but it's reality.
And pro se, I was also going to say something also when you were sitting there talking about helplessness. I think there's actually been a like a motivation to propagate the idea of helplessness and hopelessness or helplessness, or how to get yourself out of situations. I see it all the time in like how people act in reality, and also how movies portray people as dumb idiots that don't know how to fucking you know do anything. They're just idiots. They're helpless, waiting for somebody to come rescue them and that kind of shit.
Yeah, I just want to say something on the point of survival. I always tell you, well, I'll just bring the food and I can cook, and, if the world goes bad, I'm just going to come up and live around you because you're good at surviving. I bought a hand chainsaw and I want to tell you, it's one of the best things I ever did. I love this frickin' thing. It runs on oil. You put a little bit of oil in it, it just takes down anything. Totally diverting from what you're saying, but I want to tell you, I'm getting better at surviving. I went outside yesterday and I cut back a third of a bougainvillea, scratched the hell out of my right arm and part of my left arm and bled all over the place, and I loved it.
Well, I'll tell you this. For me, I think what a lot of people are not really thinking about. I mean, there's a couple of people out there thinking about when it comes down to the prepping scenario.
Mm,
You know, one of the main things when it even comes down to military forces is their um, supply train. Basically, their logistics and stuff like that. Because if that gets disrupted or stops, people start getting hungry. People start, like soldiers, start getting hungry. Their morale goes way down. So I mean, that would be one of the biggest things for even the most seasoned prepper out there. You got to realize if you're planning on bugging in where all your stuff is, that's
mm,
okay. But once that stuff runs out, which it is going to, unless you've got a way of keeping that supply coming in, like have
mm-hmm,
your own garden or whatever, where you have a continuous supply um, coming in, and just defend that piece of land where you're at. And because otherwise, that supply is going to diminish and it is going to be gone. It's a diminishing resource. So even bugging in, it to me is not always the best route. I mean, yeah, all my stuff is here. I'd like to stay here where all my stuff is at because I can't carry all my stuff with me. You know what I mean?
I know.
Um,
But I've always, and I've mentioned to you this a couple times, or I've said it on panels. I would have no problem eating fried crickets, fried worms, fried whatever. You fry them up enough, anything is going to be crunchy and not taste that bad.
well, that
So
may
that
be well
doesn't
and
scare
good
me.
in a peaceful environment. Now, if you're in a hostile environment, like for instance, you know, let's say some major tragedy goes on and it's basically put the country at halt for you know, indefinitely. Basically, just put everything, all our infrastructure, everything was on halt till there's no coming back on in sight in any time soon. So you start thinking about that could be considered a hostile environment if there's people around you that might be willing to take what you got. All
Oh,
right.
absolutely.
So just going out and getting a few crickets here and there or whatever, if you can do that in a hostile environment, that's fine. Now, I mean, but that's another thing too is this is one of the things that I've actually thought about. Now, this is actually something I've actually thought about. because my uncle likes to have this property out here, including the one I'm sitting on. Everything mowed, really nice, really beautiful landscaped type look. Everything looks really nice. The only problem with that is for people that are wanting to take your shit. The nicer your place looks, the more likely you might have some good shit.
Well,
And
maybe when the world goes bad, he'll quit doing all the the lawn improvement.
well, but even then, you got to understand, like that first, let's say the first 2 weeks, people are still maintaining, but they're starting to get crazy. All right. And you get past 2 weeks without, like, your water, without your electricity, without your cell phone. I don't know how loud that is, but the damn rain's coming down.
It's okay. For me, I don't have any problem with it. It's okay. Doesn't really sound like rain. It sounds like wind. Yeah, a mowed
No,
field
it's,
is
it's
harder to
rain
hide
on it's
in.
rain it's rain on top of the tin. Yeah, I might have to. I'm gonna move some stuff into the house and then move you into the house. And all right, hold on a second.
You're finally moving me into your house. I'm so excited. It only took the dang rain. This is so funny. Oh my gosh. Hi, Anthony. I'm sorry. I think Bright Light was your name. I'm sorry I don't understand a lot of what you're typing. Yeah, there is that mob mentality. Um, I just feel like, and this is me, that because I have a deep faith in God and I believe in God, that when it's my time to go, I'm okay with God and it is what it is. That's how I look at it. I'm happy. I'm happy. I don't want to go yet. I have no plans to, and you can bet that I will use my fists and fight, but um, yeah,
Well,
brute.
that is
Oh,
one of
you're
the
back.
things. Yeah, I'm back. I'm just moving you into the house out of the rain and.
You just don't know how exciting a moment this is for me, Wing. I've always asked you to make me a
Mhm.
bedroom, and you said no.
No, like I said, there's
You're
a
still
tent right
saying
out there.
no.
There's a
A
tent out there
tent.
in the yard.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy that tent while I stay in the nice house that you've
Yeah.
built. I thought that was a spare bedroom for you.
Mhm, that's what you.
That's the
That's
dog
what,
house for you.
that's what you think.
I know. I don't sleep in tents. I told
That's
you
what you.
that.
That's what you believe.
Well, I'm gonna make you a believer.
but
You never know.
you know, and that's the thing. Oh shit! I kind of lost my track of where I was fucking talking, but
Uh,
anyway.
talking about survival
Oh yeah.
and
Well,
the
I was sitting there
manicuring
saying.
of the lawn.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like I was saying. It's like I always and I've been homeless. I've been living out of my backpack for 10 years. I did it, so I mean I know what it's like
I don't know
living
how
out
you
on
did.
the
I mean,
road.
I've never done that, so
Well, I
I
know
don't
what it's
know.
like living out on the road, and finding different places to sleep and eat and all this other stuff. All right, so I know what it's like. It'll be slightly harder if the situation was in like a hostile type environment, where everything's gone, like the cell phones, the electricity, the water, everything, all that stuff's gone, and there's no end in sight of that. I know there would be extra challenges. All right, I know that I've got some stuff here at the house that might keep me going for a little while. All right, but I also
Don't
know
mention a
that
whole
all
lot of things. People are watching. I
that's what
get
I'm
worried when you
saying. I'm
start
just
talking a
saying.
lot of stuff. Be careful.
I have stuff.
Stuff.
I'm not telling you what it is, but I'm just saying I do have stuff that and it's my stuff. All right, that's the thing. If it got down to the point where my neighbor that's got some kids and they're starting to get hungry because they haven't eaten in a while, next thing you know, he's sitting there thinking, because he's got daddy, 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 I'm hungry in his fucking face. He might be considering coming over here and taking my stuff. All right, he may be so desperate where he might be willing to take my life to get my stuff. All right. Now, so bugging in is nice. If you can defend what you've got, that's one thing. But it's a diminishing resource no matter what you got, unless your logistics is so good where you've got to continuously resupply, where that resupply is something that you can count on to come back, because that's where all of this really stems down to is the resupply, you know, and our logistics, you know.
Let me give you a hard question. What if he comes over and he asks for help? And this doesn't
Um,
make you look like a bad person no matter
well,
how you answer.
me personally, I don't have things to spare in that situation.
Okay.
So I can spare. Well, I take that back. I have time I can spare. Stuff I
Uh,
don't.
so
I'm
you would
willing
take
to
it,
make.
but you would
I
take the
might be.
time to help them.
Well, I might offer my time if that's something that I can help them with,
Okay.
or I'm willing to also barter. There are things there's some of my stuff I might not need, or I've got multiple of them, and I can do with getting rid of one of those things. I mean, but I want something in return.
Well,
You know.
I gave you a very hard on the spot question.
Well, see, I'm not fucking Goodwill, and I'm not charity, so I don't do that. Even especially in that situation, especially because uh, you know, it's like that give an inch, take a mile type of thing.
Hmm.
I've seen it happen even when we're not in that situation where people would take advantage of that generosity. You know what I
Yeah, if you
mean?
do it once, they keep taking advantage of it. Been there, done
Right,
that.
right. So,
Don't
you
do it
know,
anymore.
well, I mean, I'll give you an example, and this is just, from when I was like 18 years old. At that time, I was selling weed. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up smoking a blunt with this dude just one time, and I wasn't even friendly with him. I was just smoking a blunt with him. All right. But
Hmm.
this dude took it upon himself to bring a friend over to my fucking house. I don't even know who this fucking friend of his is. I barely know the dude that fucking brought him. And they're coming to my fucking front door to asking me to fucking buy weed. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I know. I understand
I'm
how
like,
you
get
would
the hell
feel.
out of here. I don't know you motherfuckers. That
Hmm.
kind of shit. And I mean, and I was just being generous. Hell yeah, you can hit this thing. Go ahead, man. But no, he took it a step further, and it's like that give an inch, take a mile, where he
Yeah,
felt
that's
like
not
he was
cool.
able to go that much more.
I
And
just want to say
and
hello to Algorithm. Hi, Algo.
oh, Al goes in there. I didn't really.
Yeah, he just came in.
Oh, right on. Um,
No, and people will do that, especially when it comes to drugs and stuff. They think, well, if he did this, then it's okay, and I'll just bring this other dude over, and it's not good at all.
right. Well, I'm just using that as an example. Like
Well,
for
it's a good
instance,
example.
if for instance we were in that shit hit the fans scenario. Here, I'm gonna put my headphones on and think about it. In that, if we were in that um, shit hit the fan scenario,
Hmm.
all right, and hell, I got a couple extra cookies or something like that. You look like a fucking here. I'll just give him that.
Hmm.
Next thing you know, he'll be coming back for another couple of cookies,
Hmm.
or he might bring some friends. Hey, man, we're hungry too.
Yeah, they'll become
Um,
dependent on you.
right, and it's like once you do it once, you know, there is always that thing. It's like um, they'll take advantage of it. So I would in that
Yeah.
situation. I mean, especially in a shit hit the fan scenario, there I would not. I wouldn't. If somebody asked me for stuff, they
Hmm.
wouldn't get anything.
No,
Like
I
I said,
understand what you're saying, and I
yeah.
don't think badly of you at all. I think you're being very honest, and a lot of
Well,
people would just BS and say, "Oh yeah, I'll help them out," but
well,
they're not in that situation. They're not thinking
right.
ahead.
And honestly, it's probably because they've never been in those type of situations before. You know what I mean?
That's very true.
I'm speaking from past experiences. That just
Yeah,
happens to be one little story from when I was young. All
yeah.
right. I'm just talking from my past experiences. My life experience so far
has taught me this about people. All right.
Life experience means a lot.
Well, that's another thing that too that bothers the crap out of me is, unfortunately, I mean, when I was 16, I thought I knew a whole lot of shit, but I didn't know dick. I still don't know a whole lot, but you get these 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids nowadays thinking that they know everything because everything can be Googled and everything, can be, all this information is at our fingertips for now. They think they're so smart and they
Mm.
think they know, but they have no life experience behind them. And so, that's what drives me nuts about sometimes these kids getting up there arguing certain topics when they have no life experience whatsoever and they're just reading this off of fucking Google or some chat GPT fucking wrote out for them.
Yeah, I don't like Grok or Chat GPT. I would never have
Well,
any of that crap in my house.
well, a lot of people are relying on this stuff
Yeah.
And Google and all this other shit to tell them what's what. There's still people think that actually Wikipedia is real or like that's all facts. That's bullshit. Anybody can change Wikipedia,
Anybody can contribute to Wikipedia. No matter what they say, it's going to get put in.
but that's the thing. Some people believe that as like the dictionary.
No,
You
I
know what I'm
don't.
saying?
I don't even refer to them. I will say I Google things, but I go to about four sources and just, try and get something that makes the most sense to me. So I'm not going to
Well,
say I don't Google.
even then, there's a lot of stuff that really I think it's made to not make sense to the average people. And you start getting into like law, you get
Mm,
starting getting into like even when you start digging deep into religions
mm,
or any of that stuff. Um, a lot of that stuff was obscured from the common folk. So that's why I say government is a religion because it's got its own language, its own
mm,
belief system, its own enforcement. The language of government is legalese.
mm,
So all the words that we're speaking right now, just in common speak, actually has a different definition than what you are led to believe it is. It's kind of like you remember back when Clinton was asking, it depends on what the definition of is. Why do you
mm.
think he asked that question? Are you going by the legalese definition or are you going by the common speak definition?
Well, you came into Peanuts last night. No, Saturday night.
Yeah,
Yeah, Saturday night. And he had a section on linguistics
right.
and going back with words and stuff and where they came from and everything. And it was very interesting. And that kind of makes me think of what you're saying right now, like,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
you think about where a lot of words originate from. I'll give you an example.
exactly.
I'll
That's
give
what he
you
was
just
talking about.
I'll just give you an example, for instance. If you were um, um, take the word government, for instance, and you broke it down it's down to its etymological, whatever you call it, however you pronounce it, etymology of it. Um, it's made of two,
Etymological.
yeah, it's made of two Latin words, gervino and mentis.
Hmm.
Gervino means to govern or to control, and mentis means the mind, which government actually literally means control the mind or mind control. That's what literally it means.
Hmm.
So, just the actual words have been actually weaponized against us because, like I said, the powers that should not be, they use this other language with other definitions and all this other stuff. They don't even the government in our country doesn't even abide by the Constitution that we all talk about. They've got their own Constitution. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
Washington D.C. is not even part of the United States of America. It's the District of Columbia.
It's its own entity.
It's
I guess
it's
that's what you
not
can
even
call
a
it. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not yeah it's not even a
Yeah, I
part.
know.
So I
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
they got their own constitution, they got their own language, their own fucking words, their own definitions,
Well, they're
and
the Vatican of the United States.
well, and this is how all governments really work. But this I'm just using it on United America as the example. Um, but that's been weaponized against us because we don't know what the fuck they're talking about. We hear the same words, they all spelled the same or they sound the same, and they, all that stuff, but they're different. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's why they consider all of us incompetent, or idiots.
Yeah.
Just the herd to be pushed around and told where to go. If you need to go into that corral, push them in that corral. And when you want to move them over to the other corral, or if you want to move them in there to be slaughtered, you know, they're willing to go.
Yeah, but I really don't want a civil war. I don't. Hi, JM. Good to see you.
Well, the thing is, it's like a civil war. That's, you know,
Wing, Wing.
um,
You can say hello to JM. Sorry.
oh, what's up, JM?
Yeah.
Good
Maybe
evening. Good
JM
evening.
wants to come up. It's not too
Yeah,
late.
I'll put it back in the chat again if
JM's
anybody
good at
if anybody
speaking.
does want to come up. But because I don't mind,
Go back
honestly.
to
I
your
mean,
government talking.
if
I remember
anybody
what you were talking about.
if anybody wants to contribute to the conversation up on panel, if
I
I
think
know
you're
you,
well, you know who JM is.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out
Okay.
there. If I know you, I'll let you up. If I don't know you, I won't let you up.
You still
I
don't know
got,
who I
I,
am.
I got. Well, no, I've got at least one hater in every state and one in every country. So, I've got to at least think about that.
Hey, I have one in every live stream, okay? Or two. You never know. I don't care. Well, that's why I'm very, very private, is because I have people who want to dox me. And I've mentioned this before, I did the protest streams and I made a lot of enemies. And so I'm still very, very protective of myself. And it's not a bad way to be.
I personally, um, if you're protesting like the government doesn't give a shit.
No,
You can
they
see,
didn't.
it's like, yelling at a brick wall. They don't care. So I
No, but
mean,
the actors
I
that
don't,
got
I don't,
paid to
I don't,
protest cared.
I don't see protesting actually as something. If you gotta see, the thing is, if you cannot force an agenda, um, you gotta inspire it. It's like I can't sit there and force feed anarchy into people and make them start thinking and along those lines and looking through the lenses of true freedom. I can't
Hmm.
force people into doing that. I can
But
only
are
show
you
them that.
willing? But are you willing to lead and inspire?
No, I'll try to inspire, but I will not lead. I'm not a leader.
Okay. I
I,
don't
I,
know.
I
I really kind of think you are.
no,
But
no, I'm not a leader.
that's a
I don't.
position you have to be willing to take.
Well, I will if the situation calls for it, and everyone I'm around thinks I'm probably the best choice. I'll take up that task if I need that burden if I need to. But I'm not that person. I'm not that one to lead
Okay.
others. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All I can do is basically get everybody on that same thing where we're all leaders. Instead of having a bunch of followers, we need to have more leaders, if not all of us be leaders, and achieving basically the same goal, which is,
Hmm.
freedom, which
Hmm.
should be on our tippy top of our list, which we've, for generations being, demonized to think for ourselves, have critical thinking, question authority. These things are looked frowned upon by the ones that want to stay in control.
Yeah.
So they don't want that. They want you to believe that it's bad to do that kind of stuff. It's like, you thinking for yourself? What the hell are you doing? Kind of ridicule people into, this has happened for generations. So it's like slow simmer, you
Yeah,
know.
see, I don't play the keyboard warrior because if I'm not willing to get out there and actually work it and be with the people and help to make the change, I'm not going to sit at the keyboard and tell them how to make the change. That's me.
Well, I mean, but that's another thing too.
But I'm not, yeah, well, I'm not coming down on you because you're not a keyboard warrior.
No, 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 no. See, okay, I relate YouTube. It's just another medium. It just uses video. I relate
Yeah.
it to my radio.
Hmm.
So there's so much that's similar to talking on a CB radio as it is right here, right now on
Hmm.
YouTube. To me, All right, because we had trolls and fucking haters and all that shit on CB also. All
Oh
right,
yeah,
and
you
and
sure
and the
did.
thing is, it's like it's just it was just another social network in my mind. But
Yeah.
there are people, their whole intention and their whole goal is to start shit. I mean that there are people that they cannot go a day without starting shit. If they did, it would be like suffocating. You know what I mean?
Oh, they'd be miserable. Their happiness lies in doing what they're doing.
What is up, Joe?
What's good? You know, I saw you. I had to stop, Joe. What's going on?
Well, I'm
Wait a minute,
glad
let me
you're
get
here,
back
bud.
here. Who's up here? Hey there,
Joe
Joe.
Joe
Cool.
Cool. Cool Joe.
That's
It's Cool Joe. Hey there, this is
Snooks.
Snooks.
How you
I've
What's
seen
doing?
up,
you
Blue? I see you
before.
in there.
Uh,
Blue
uh,
Ivy, I see you in there. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I was talking to her on the phone. I told her I had to come here and say hi to you.
Hi there, Blue
Yeah.
Ivy.
Uh,
Well, I mean, we went off on a whole bunch of other stuff because I was trying to go into a different realm other than government and religion and shit.
Did I
You know,
take
I
you
was
back? Did I take you somewhere you didn't want to go?
he
well the
wanted to
convers
go there.
the
You
co-
know
the
that.
Yeah, I
conver
did.
I it happens to be some of my favorite subjects, but I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm a broken record because I end up saying the same thing sometimes.
Yeah.
But but I've been,
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you say a lot of different things.
Jeb,
Listen,
what's going on?
I love him, but I'm going to throw the broken record moniker on him. His problem is not that he says the same thing over and over, it's that he says it the same way. And he will just raise his voice and say it the same way again and then repeat himself. He's got to find smooth ways to go around and trick these people.
Well,
Whoa, you're
it, you
blunt.
know, it,
I
mm,
know him well. He knows me
and
well.
yeah, I've known Joe for a while. But
I know, I've seen him talk before and I've wanted to go up there and slap him, but it's okay. I
I
like you,
know
Joe.
everybody does. Thank you,
the
I
everybody.
do. I like you.
the
Poor,
me and Joe, we've known each other for quite a while now.
yeah.
But anyway,
And we
I mean,
pretty talk
that's the thing
direct.
too,
We
man. I really
appreciate that.
wish when they did the damn Autopalooza, I really wish you had at least come by, even if you weren't going to pick me up and take
If
me over
I
there.
known you were anywhere near, I'd have broke
I
my
was
neck to
20
come
fucking
by.
minutes away, dude. You know.
Whoa, you're getting called out, Joe. You've been
He
Well, I
bad.
tried.
know
I'd
he
have
was he
broke
was
my
doing his own
neck.
thing, whatever,
I
whatever.
had my little chick up in a hotel. I took her down. They got a hotel on the beach for 3 days. I still would have found time though when I left.
Well,
Shit.
that would have been awesome. We could at least sit around and fucking bullshit or whatever for a little bit while you're here. I mean, because at the time I didn't have a vehicle. That was the only reason I didn't
I
even
could
go
have
myself.
snatched you up, man. If you only
Yeah,
20 minutes away, man, my hotel was further than that. I'd have grabbed you, bro.
yeah.
I'd have picked
I
you
mean,
up.
I'm not that far away. I mean, literally, probably at the most 45 maybe minutes away, something like
Where
that. But I mean,
where were we at? Pensacola, I think it was, or I was there
yeah,
for Pensacola
yeah.
too.
I'm just east of that, going into Panama City out that direction.
Yeah,
So I mean, I was not that far away.
yeah.
Um, so I mean,
I
but
wish
anyway,
so. Then we could have met. You could have met everybody, and they could have got the benefit from your wisdom. We had one table
well,
outdoors just
and
dedicated to
that's
chopping it up with the wisdom shit.
and that's another thing too. I mean, that's the thing that I can relate to the radio thing. Every once in a while, we would have like try to do it yearly, where we get all these guys that are on the radio together at a fucking meet. You know what I mean? And we can actually put eyeballs on somebody I've been talking to for like 5 fucking years. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you can actually have an eye to eye, face to face conversation.
You
You know
guys
what I
haven't
mean?
been
And
able to pull that off yet.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
thanks,
do.
Joe, for thanks
We,
for telling him all that he missed.
well, for the radio
Right.
stuff, yeah, we do that. But when it comes down to the auditing community, since I don't do that stuff anymore, but I keep in contact with the community or the movement, in my opinion. I
I like
there's a lot
movement
of
better.
people. There's a lot of people, including you, that I've been following around on YouTube for many many years, and and a bunch of them were at the fucking
Jeff
at the
Gray.
yeah, Jeff Gray and fucking
uh,
and
He don't like
arm
crowd
fisherman.
either. He don't
You
like
know,
that. Our
I'm a
fisherman cooked,
yeah.
so that was great.
I mean, so I mean, he's another Florida boy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I like
Right
all
was
them. I
there.
like all them
Rose was
Florida
there. A
boys.
bunch of
Yeah,
Florida. John was
I
there. A bunch of
know.
Florida motherfuckers was there.
I
Yeah.
know. That's what I'm saying. I'd like to meet up with all the Florida boys and stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll catch another one of these days. If I'm not doing
Yeah.
anything, and now that I have a vehicle, I could probably make it.
Yeah.
Um, it would be
It's
nice.
it's coming up next couple months. I might still be here taking care of my family, but if they try to charge you or anything, you let me know. I'll make sure you get in there for free and they don't charge you.
You got a working car now? Good for you. And you wanted to go
Yeah.
to Lollapalooza?
No, it's
Audit Pelosi.
Autopalooza. Uh,
Autopalooza. I was going to say, please don't tell me Lollapalooza. I'm just going to so
Yeah.
no,
disrespect you.
Right. You got
no.
your car running for that
Yeah,
bullshit.
I'd be like, what the heck? Just, shoot the car.
Uh,
Yeah, no.
Auditors, a bunch of auditors and cop watchers get together in Florida.
Autopalooza. I've never heard
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
that.
Well, yesterday. Last year
yeah.
was the first
Last year,
one.
first one. Yeah, last year was the first one. But it was close by. It's like I said, I'm not here in Panama City. It's like it was in Pensacola, I think it was. So I mean, you know, that's not far away from where I'm at. So, but yeah, and if it's like close by, like it is like last time, if it's going to be at the same spot, I'm gonna definitely try and make it.
Yeah.
But
They
but
said they're
like I said,
gonna, if you're
I
not an
definitely,
auditor, they're gonna try and charge you. Just let me know and I'll
well, I'm
tell
just saying, hopefully you'll be there too. You know what I'm
them.
saying?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, I'm kind of,
If then things go well, if I'd like to be at the same place where me and you can just hang out for a minute at least. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, fuck yeah, we
And
can do that. Yeah, for sure.
because I
Then you
mean,
can
there's
let
a
Joe cut you down in person.
well, I'll tell you, yeah, I wouldn't mind that shit. I mean, that's the thing about men, man. We can
We
do
don't
that
have a
shit.
problem. Wait,
Y'all
We
do
ain't
it.
got
Yes, you
we
let
do
do.
it
me
all the
You
give you
time.
a
really
story.
you do it and you get over it and you move
We
on and
love
it's
it.
fine. Women
Yeah.
don't do that.
No,
Like
no,
Yes, you got to
we
get a
stay really
call.
pissed for a long
I
time.
know. Yeah, one
I
of
don't
the
like women. I don't like women. I
no
prefer
women
male
like
friends.
women.
I
No,
prefer male friends, I'm
every woman
telling
I've
you.
ever met told me that. Every
I
woman
mean,
I've
there's
ever
some
met
good
told
women.
me
I'm
that.
not going to say there aren't some good, so I'm not cutting y'all down in the chat. But for the most part, I've had women stab me in the back faster than
Yeah,
men do,
yeah,
and they're
and we
less
get over it.
honest.
Just women ain't all trying to fuck you.
I
All us
get
trying
over
to
it. I
get
don't
some.
hold
That's the
grudges
problem.
and shit. I don't want to go. I just don't want to do that. But anyway,
Let me
well,
tell
I
you a
mean,
little story about men. Big Nick, he's one of those big artists. We was talking about famous dude. I had
South
went
Florida.
to South Florida, Fort Lauderdale. I had went to a cookout. One of the Miami Dolphins guys had a cookout. Nick was invited, and a bunch of his friends were there. And the guy said something that was very direct, and I responded with, "Hey man, don't get in your feelings and emotions." He cut me off when I come with my response. He cut me off. He was like, "Hey, we don't do that. You can speak your mind and speak directly." I was like, "No," but I got so excited. I was like, "Yeah, Nick," and I tested it to see if it was true. And yes, you can say what you wanted. And here's what he responded to me with after I tested them. He said, "What do I think about reparations? What do you mean?" He was like, "I think that you're gonna have to give black people some stuff and don't and deny it to white motherfuckers." Like really, like yeah, it's like a race. They tied your shoestrings and they got to go the first 100 yards. How do you catch up? You cannot unless you cripple them and let the black man catch up. I was like, just the directness. I haven't even fathomed that because it seemed unsellable. I thought that nigga was great.
Were you talking about Mike? Was talking
No,
saying
this
that shit?
this is one of nobody knows, and this is one of Big Nick buddies who was at the cookout.
Oh, okay.
But I appreciated it, man, because that's some controversial shit, man. White people go lose their fucking mind and set their hair on fire if you talk like that. He's like, yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta
Well,
tie them up, Joe.
I
You
would
gotta
I would have.
hobble them for years. I'm like, Jesus, bro,
Well,
might be some white people around here. Hold on, cool out.
me personally, the way I mean, if because I've actually had that conversation with somebody one time. But me personally, I think when it comes down to the ones that were brought here from Africa, I think
Uh,
the ones that are wanting reparations are going to have to take it from those people in Africa that sold them off. You know what I'm saying?
but that defeats the purpose, right? when the United States gave reparations to Indians, or the Japanese, or all the other countries they give reparations to, is because we fucked you over. You can't argue that the U.S. has fucked over black people, regardless of how they got here and shit. That's why they
Yeah.
pay the reparations, because they fuck people
But
over.
who's going to put the bill for that though? Because
The
government only
U.S.
has,
Yeah.
government only has what they take from others. So
Let me
I
just
don't think
intervene.
it's a good idea. First of all,
Let,
I don't think it's a good idea. But go ahead.
right on.
let me intervene here just for a minute. Just I want to say hello to all the chat that's come in and thank y'all for being
Yeah,
here.
Ajot. I saw Ajot came in. That was
Brandon,
Brandon.
Ajot. I
The
want to
guru
ask you.
Well, I
select
mean, this is awesome
texted
because I
guru
mean,
too.
this is the
Well,
most I've seen on a live stream in a long time. So this is
yeah, well,
pretty
you're
cool.
lucky you have me here. That's
Is
why.
that
I
No,
said,
Wing, I wanted to tell you though, you have, is it bright light in here? We
yeah,
don't understand any of his comments. Is there
yeah.
a
He
reason?
yeah. No, that's just the way he he texts. That's the reason
Okay.
why I can recognize it's bright because the way he I don't know how to explain it. He doesn't. It's a foreign language in his mind, I guess. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Um,
I don't mind your comments at all. I want you to know that, bright light. I just wish I understood them better because I think you're
yeah.
saying intelligent
Yeah.
things.
Well, yeah. He
That's all.
he he
I'm
speaks
looking for
better.
someone called
He
Bright
speaks
Lights.
better out of his mouth versus him texting.
Has he
You know
been
what
on
I'm
the
saying?
panel and talked before?
With Bright, yeah, me and Bright, I'm
Oh, I'd
he's
love to hear him talk sometime then.
well, yeah, he's he's out there. If you talk about trying to understand and follow some people, he's another one of those that's definitely
I
hard to
don't care.
follow
I
sometimes.
like different
It takes
thoughts.
some
I'm all
work, huh?
for them.
Yeah.
I like
He's.
that.
I think he's saying it takes work to even understand what he's trying to communicate.
Well,
It's
see,
okay.
okay, I was sitting there. There's a lot of these guys over in the UK that I talked to also, and um, some of the conversations I can't because I'm not from where they from. You know what I'm saying? They're not from where I'm
Yeah.
from, so it's like the different types of perspective that we get
Accents
between
and shit too be
even
fucking me
even the
up.
accents. Yeah, it depends on. Like I know a guy named Joe that actually, man, he fucking he's Scottish, and he's like got
Yeah.
you get him fucking drunk and cussing a lot, he'll
Yeah.
fucking
Oh,
you can't understand a word he's saying because that damn accent gets so thick. But
Yeah.
yeah,
A
I
bunch
like to
of
add in
friends
here.
like that.
I have seen some of your English lives with those people. They're totally smashed.
well, I don't know
No
what it was.
offense
It
to
was
them, but they are. They're smashed.
to me, there's a time that I don't know if it's drizzled off yet, but there's a time on YouTube where a lot of people thought that was the thing to do is to get on a live and get fucking smashed drunk
Yeah.
and talk a lot of shit and blah blah blah. Um, you know, so it's like a thing for some people. And then you got a lot of these guys over in Europe, man. They drink. You
Yeah,
talk,
they do.
they drink pretty good. I
I
mean, I'm
try
not.
not to go on panels when I'm drinking anymore. It never works out.
It's
But
wise, right? I wish more
yeah,
people would
It
I
do
is
drink
that.
that peanut
because
butter whiskey and I get in trouble,
because
so I just don't do it.
okay, like for instance, like one of the first times, Joe, when you came on one of my first lives that you came on, what was the reason everybody left that
Oh
other
fuck.
live fucking
Yeah.
stream and y'all were all fucked up and you ended up over on my fucking front step coming
Yes.
over? It's like, can you come in? You know,
I
you
oh,
remember that? You
I
remember that
do.
shit?
I thought I had the only idea. This guy who had been starting shit in the community, and he couldn't go nowhere else. I don't know how I found out he was over here, but apparently other people found out as soon as I get over here and jump him. I don't know, 3, 4 more motherfuckers come over here and jump him, and Anarchy had to jump
Uh, uh,
us.
all these other professional trolls.
It was
I'm
bad.
sorry I
It
missed
was
that
a
stream. I
horrible
love
introduction.
trolls.
I
It's
couldn't
still on. It's still
apologize
up. It's
enough,
still up.
bro.
I know, but
And
it doesn't do me any good now. I don't get to play with the
But
trolls.
there was also I ended the stream, but there was some backstage shit that was a little bit freer when it comes down to the how we were talking to each other on the fucking stream, you know. But I mean, yeah, I respect Joe ever since that fucking shit, man. I've respected him. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
And
before you made it clear, you was like, man, I've never had anything but good communications with you, and this is your introduction. You coming to my room, this nonsense. I was like,
right.
man, I didn't know them niggas was coming. You like, you alone, nigga. Look at the shit
No,
you
I
on.
know. I know.
Yeah, you right, bro.
It
You
You
was
brought a
good.
right.
It was
bunch
good
of
though. I mean, it was a
you
good
brought
thing though. I think it was
you
a good
brought in
thing.
a bunch of unwanted guests.
It was
Yeah,
good.
that was
Fucking
pretty
hey, dude.
Way to
horrible.
go. Way to
That's
I
how
mean,
you
go.
learn, man. That's how
I'm
I
telling you,
learn.
man. I was at the point, man. If these motherfuckers in my fucking living room, I was ready to start fucking swinging on some motherfuckers. That's what I'm saying. I was ready. I was like, motherfucker, you gonna get the fuck out of my house right now.
Yeah, he
You
was
know, what I
hot,
mean that kind
bro.
of shit.
Dang, and
But
I missed it.
it's
Because you know
still
I
up.
can get feisty. I
Uh,
know, but I
you
wasn't there
just
during the
I know
time.
during
Because
the
you know
time, yeah.
I will
Like I
get
said,
feisty.
this was years ago before you even
Oh,
Hey,
came in. You know,
I'm
oh.
before
going
you
in the
even came
house.
into the play.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna
we've
bail back
known each
on
other
when I
for
get in
five
the
years.
house, man. I'm finna
Okay,
park.
Yeah.
you're one of the
Uh,
first people I met.
that's what I'm saying. It's like
Aren't you lucky?
that was one thing about COVID that there was a lot of people that had nothing else to do. Because I mean, you know, even the guys that were in Europe, I know guys that were locked up and locked inside their
Mm,
house for
mm.
lockdown and shit like that. So they had nothing else to do but get on fucking live streams. All right. And, you know, that was one thing about COVID, you know, or, you know, that shit. Um, you know, and, you know, so there's a lot of people that moved into the YouTube realm, which, like I said, I've been
They
on.
did.
I will put it this way. I mean, I've had Anarchy Television for, I think, since 2016, I think.
Mm.
And, but I've been on for since 2013, 2014, somewhere around there, because I've been on, you know, a lot longer than that.
Dang, you're
Than it.
old.
But I mean, I'm just saying it's like you know, I'm not saying I've been on YouTube for the longest amount of time. I've just been on it for a while. I've seen
That's a
different
long
progressions,
time.
different progressions of what stuff has actually been coming through. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
I'm
you
all over you.
would.
I'm all over the place. I don't stick around with one. Because I mean, you know, that was one thing that I noticed about, like, for instance, the European group or the Australian group or any of the USA group or the fucking Spanish group. They all hang in different groups of their own. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? They self-segregate themselves in a sense. Very few of them kind of reach out to all the other stuff. I didn't give a crap. I was worldwide. I fucking went into their rooms. I went into my fucking room, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Well, you're just a bold son of a gun, aren't you?
well, like I said, I'm interested in the human perspective and the human
Hmm.
condition. All right, because I
Hmm.
mean that was one of the things that was kind of like, I know it's an odd hobby, but when I was homeless, one of the
Hmm.
things that and when I was a bouncer, one of the things that I uh, is kind of like a hobby of mine is watching people. You learn a lot about people,
That's not odd
including,
at all.
well, when you watch people, you understand more about the human condition, the human, you know, type of, you know, that type of natural, whatever we want to call it. And then if you start doing that reflection, it's
Hmm.
like looking into a mirror because you can see yourself in other people. You know, because, like, for instance, if you see somebody you don't like, most likely that is a trait that you don't like in yourself, and you're just seeing yourself in that other person.
Oh,
That's
I've
the
heard
reason why.
that, and
That's
I
the
do
reason why
find
you
that
don't like it,
true. Yeah,
and
there's
that's the
some
reason
women
why
that
you don't like it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's some women
No.
I haven't liked, and it is because I have that trait, and because I don't like that trait, I try and change that trait.
Right. And you
Because
see
if I don't
yourself.
like it, yeah, I don't like it
Right.
if it's somebody else, I'm not going to like it in
Right.
me. So actually, it's an
Right.
education.
Right. It's a reflection on yourself and stuff. And
Yeah,
you can learn about, if you learn a lot about people, you can learn a lot about yourself.
it's true.
And that's kind of like on that walkabout was part of the mentality in my head. It wasn't, you know, I mean, there was a portion of just getting away, you know,
Hmm.
kind of like getting away from the situation I'm in and just say, fuck it and just take off and just start over somewhere else. Cause I've done it many times in my life. I'm just gotten down to the point where I'm tired of doing it so much. You know what I mean? I
And
mean,
where did you sleep when you did these walk? You know, you're very interesting. Where did you sleep when you did these walkabouts? Just in woods and stuff, or did you,
well,
like?
it depends on where I was at. You know, I mean, you know, because I did a huge big circle around the country, and
Just
you know, kind of like,
walking?
well, most of the time. I mean, there was a time where for about 4 years, I think I had a van.
Oh,
But yeah, mostly walking. So I would. I would go into a town, earn a bunch, whatever money I can earn,
Mm-hmm.
that other than buying food and stuff, but enough where I can earn to like move on to the next town. So I'd earn just a little bit of cash, get myself stacked away with what I need, and then just move on to the next one, and kind
That's
of did
so
that all over the
interesting.
place.
What happened to
And
Joe?
he took off. He was just
Oh,
kind of stepping in to say hi anyway.
oh, okay. Just sorry to
Um,
interrupt you.
but I don't know if I mentioned it, but Deb, I don't know if I mentioned seeing you in there. Good to see you after. Um, but the
Talking about your
thing
walkabouts.
I know, well, it was the thing. It's like that was, it just really kind of depended on where I was at. So now, if there was places that was, heavily wooded, and I didn't think I could get messed with
Mm-hmm.
by just average people or police or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'd do that. But if I was in an area that was more suburban or more, in uh, more buildings and stuff like that, I'd abandon places is always an option,
Mm.
or finding somewhere that's hidden that
Wow.
that's like in plain view, but nobody really can see this spot. You know what I mean? And you can tuck yourself back up in there, and you'd be in
Yeah.
plain view, but nobody could see you.
It's
Um,
pretty
give,
amazing. I don't know
yeah.
that a woman would ever, this is not to down woman. I can't see me ever doing that. Um,
I
but
used to know a chick that did that, but she had a dog with her all the time,
really,
which is a smart move in my opinion
yeah,
for a female to be doing that kind of thing. Alone is hard, but if you got a dog with you, for one, that will help protect you, and then on
yeah,
top of that, it gives you that companionship. That's the reason why I love my dogs. Also, it kind of
yeah,
gives you. It's not this loneliness type of feeling. You actually, and you got to take care of the dog. So
yeah.
you're always looking to take care of it, and then taking care of yourself in the same process.
Hmm. So
Um,
she was homeless too?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's very interesting.
Um, and every once in a while, she used to ride trains and shit too. But I'd see her out on the road. I've seen her at different gatherings before. Um, and,
Still? You mean like
no,
recently?
this is years ago, back when I was
Oh,
doing all that. Back in my early 20s.
well, I'm surprised y'all didn't hook up. Then you could have walked about together and not been so lonely.
Well, we were friends. We knew each other. I mean, but I mean, it wasn't a
Uh,
thing.
am I touching a sensitive area?
No,
That
I was just
sounded
saying
bad.
that it wasn't something that either one of us were
It was
interested
just
in.
a thought. Just the way
Yeah.
I think. It's interesting.
I've hooked up with girls and went traveling. It's like when I actually got the van.
Oh, I have no doubt. You want to start talking
Yeah.
about that?
Well, no, I'm just saying. It's like when I got the van. I mean, I ended
Oh,
up.
it's easier to hook up in a van.
Yeah, I mean, uh, when I was when I was in New Mexico, I met a girl, and we ended up going all the way up to like St. Louis, and then up to fucking Long Island, and ended up down in the Keys.
That's
But,
interesting.
and you learn a lot about a person if you're living in a van with them.
Yeah, that wouldn't work for me. I don't do van life.
Well, like I said, it's teach their own.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I mean, if I'd been younger, I might have.
See, this is the thing that prepares me for shit hit the fan.
It does.
I mean, like I said, I was like, in a lot of ways, the people that have been homeless for a long period of time or are homeless have an upper hand on everyone else when it comes down to shit hitting the fan because
Yeah.
the, we already understand what it's like to live off a dollar a day, if that. Um, you know,
Well, I'll tell
so
you, I left home when I was about 19 and I lived with, and I don't know, you may have heard this story. I lived with groups of people and I'm a nurturer, so I always became like the mother of the house and would take care of them and I would shoplift food. And yeah, I shoplifted a lot of food and we could live on rice and chicken for a week and I just always took care of everybody. So I lived very, very poorly. In fact, I did panhandling in malls for
mm,
money. Yeah, so but I never was homeless. I always had some place to sleep and, a warm place and a kitchen and stuff. But I did live very poorly. But
Mhm.
somehow I made it. It wasn't like I had any special stuff that I needed or anything. I just made it work. But I just was more of the caretaker of the others, make sure they were okay.
Well, that's the reason why, that one girl that I knew that had a dog,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why she was able to do what she did is because she had that dog. It was basically that her means of taking care of somebody. And in turn, by taking care of somebody else, you end up taking care of yourself also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you got to understand, it's like if you're not able to, walk or do anything, I mean, you can't really help anybody else. You got to
Yeah.
take care of yourself first. I mean, you got to make sure you're at least able to help somebody else. And if you you know you know and also, like I said, it was added protection. That dog would tear your ass up if you tried to fuck with her. So I mean,
Yeah.
it was one of those things. And
I've always taken care of others before me, and it just somehow it's worked out where I'm okay.
um yeah, there
But
you know
it's good life experiences.
I mean, I like I said, I've been all over the place, and I met a lot of different people over the time so far. And
I
there's just
bet.
well, the thing is like I put it this. When I went around the country, I've been around the country a couple of times actually, but I mean, I've been as far west as Arizona, and I've been as far north as New York, and I've been as far south as Key West. So I mean, um,
I've
I've
been
been
to Key
all,
West.
yeah, I lived there for 2 years.
Well,
So
being in the Navy, I've been all over.
right on.
I've been all over. And I think I said I
Yeah,
was actually born in California and then ended up in other states, ended up outside the states, and then my dad retired in Florida, so that's how I came to be here, and I love Florida.
yeah, I've been here a month. I went traveling around and basically and stuff for a while. But I'm
Yeah, but you
I'm
walked.
born. I'm not even born in Florida, but I've been here since I was 1 years old.
Where were you
I
born if you want to say?
um
If you don't want to say, don't say it.
it's up way up in the northwestern part. But
Okay.
anyway, but that was when my dad was still in the military and all that stuff, man, or just got out of the military, whatever. And from there,
Hmm.
came back. But my family, my dad's side of the family, anyway, my dad's side of the family is one of the first families that colonized through St. Augustine.
Really?
So my dad's side of the family has been around the Panhandle from St. Augustine all the way over to Panhandle for generations.
Yeah, they're
Um,
generational Floridians.
Yeah, I'm a Floridian for sure.
Yeah.
But and I grew up in Orlando. That's where I grew up. That's where most of my growing up years is mostly in Orlando or Ocala or Popka.
I've
You
been to
know,
all the, oh, I lived in Apopka before I moved to where I am now.
yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
know all
actually,
those places.
yeah, Popka. I mean, when we lived in Popka, I mean, we used to go to Rock Springs.
I did too.
I used
I
to
used
go
to
there
go
all the fucking
tubing.
time. Yep, I used to go up there all the fucking time looking for
Wekiva
shark.
Springs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wekiva Springs, Rock Springs. Now, Rock Springs, the main reason why I had so much fun there is like I always would find shark's teeth in that fucking river going from the spring down.
I
You
never
can
found any shark's teeth.
do, yeah, there were so many shark's teeth I used to find all the time. And that's just proof that all that shit was underwater in the ocean at one time. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true. God, you're talking about all these places that I know and I've been to, that frigid water, and I just loved it.
Oh yeah, dude, I
Just
love that.
beautiful.
That's the reason why I love the springs here. I used to go a lot, but I haven't done it in a while. But I used to go a
What's
lot of the
what
springs that
springs
are
do you
around
have
here.
there?
Well,
Never mind. I don't want to put you. I don't want you, to reveal anything more than you
well,
need
I mean,
to.
Inca Fina is a pretty good one. They got a bunch of different springs up and down that river,
Hmm.
and and that's not that far away.
What's the
Um,
river?
Incan Fina.
Inca what?
Incan Fina. It's an Indian name.
Incan
I don't know how to spell
Fina.
it. Yeah.
Incanfina.
I'm not sure how to spell it.
That's okay.
That's how I pronounce it anyway. That's how we pronounce it down here. But Incapina, the Incapina River, and then
Icabana? Incabana, okay.
Incampina is how I, you know, post
Inca Fina.
In,
I'm
Incampina. It's like it's just north of Panama City.
I remember
So
when I first heard you talk, I thought you were from Tennessee.
I've lived in Tennessee.
Well, I thought you,
I've
because of your accent, it sounded very heavily Tennessee.
right on. I used to live in North Carolina. I've lived in Tennessee. Um, uh, I've lived a lot of different places actually. That's the thing too. It's like I've moved so much in my life. You know, when I was still living under my dad's roof, we moved a lot. You know, it seemed like every 2 years or something like that. We moved somewhere else. And then when I left my parents' house and I started living on my own, I tend to ended up doing that same kind of thing. You know, repeating that
Mm.
pattern. And
It's
I just got
Econ
into
Fina.
yeah.
Econ, Econ Fina.
And I say Incampino. That's how I pronounce
That's
it.
fine. You're saying it fine. You're saying it just the right way. So you basically left home when you were 16. I'm like asking you all these personal questions. I'm sorry.
But the um,
You left
thing
home.
is, well, the thing is like now at 50,
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah, you're
tired
just
of
aging. You're so
well,
old.
whatever.
And
But
you've gained
no,
weight.
no, you're old and you're fat. And I'm not. No, but the thing is like I've just gotten to this point in my life where I am sick and tired of packing up and moving somewhere else, starting
Good.
over. I'm tired of it, really. You know,
Good.
I mean, I love to travel and stuff, but I need in my mind, I need a home base that if even if I did go out and travel for however long, I always got somewhere to come back to, you know, and I've just never had that. So I'm
And
trying
now
to
you
have,
have it. And I was very
well,
concerned about you
I'm,
for a
I'm, I'm,
while there, but
well,
you're like you really have just done so great at building what you're building and making it a home.
yeah, but the thing is, I'm still not there, yet.
That's okay.
Um,
You're not supposed to be.
well, I'm not sure what I'm going to end up leaving behind if I ever pass away. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what am I leaving behind? What is my legacy that I leave behind? And this is something I've been thinking about for the past 10 years or so. But
Well,
and
you're
I
not
don't
too
want
old to have children,
what
just saying.
that whatever. I'd have to do it with a fucking 20-year-old, but
So,
um, yeah, because I mean, honestly, man,
not that
once you
I'm
women get
offering
past
me
30,
because
it's
I
like it's
can't have
down
children.
fucking hill after that.
I'm not offering me, okay? I can't have children,
I'm
but
just saying. I'm
just
just
saying.
saying. It's like once they get past 30, it's down fucking hill for them. I
Wait a
mean,
minute, you're effing 50 and you're going to talk about a 30-year-old
hey,
woman going
hey,
downhill?
men actually are like, fine wine. We get better with age.
Oh, BS, you haven't.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
You're
We
not even
get.
like a good aged whiskey, okay?
I'm,
Just saying. No, I don't
I'm
want to argue with you.
aged whiskey is still gets better.
I don't care. Women age just as good as men. And better.
well, whatever.
Lots better. Lots better. God, you're such a pompous,
But if I
arrogant
wanted to
ass.
have kids, for instance, it would have to be with somebody younger because their
Yes, it
body
would.
is more it's less likely for problems to happen.
They're more
Um,
prone to get pregnant.
but it's less likely for problems like a miscarriage or complicated pregnancy. The older you get, the more that kind of stuff comes into play. You know what I'm saying?
I was just
Um,
joking with you, okay?
but I'm
Sorry.
saying though, but that's the thing is that. But so my legacy
Mm-hmm.
is hopefully not just what is immortalized out here on the social media
Mm-hmm.
after I'm gone and a pile of junk that I've got saved up in my house. Hopefully, that's not the legacy that I'm just leaving behind. I want to leave something else, but I'm not sure exactly. I mean, and then who do I leave it to?
Yeah, I
Um,
was going to ask you. I have a son. That's my legacy.
well, I had a daughter when I was 16, but she went up for
Yeah, I remember
adoption
that.
as a newborn, so I don't even
Yeah.
have that. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm sorry about that.
ah, well, that
It
was
is what it is. And
it is what
actually,
it is.
as you know, I adopted my son.
But I'm saying, but I can say it is what it is. But then, there's always that thing in the back of my mind. It's like, okay, because I can go from one end of the extreme to the other extreme.
I
Like
know.
she grew up in a very loving, fucking awesome fucking home, doing really good for herself, and blah blah blah. Or the other extreme. You know what I'm saying?
I'd
You
prefer
know.
to think the good one. I
Well,
got
that
very
that
blessed, and
I
actually,
you know
the woman who we adopted our son
it,
from came down from Michigan to Florida to have the baby. And yeah, I adore my son. That's my legacy. And
well
his children are my legacy. They'll be his legacy.
well I don't know. I mean,
Because I have
if
thought about that. What do I
but
leave
but
behind?
well, even if I don't have children, for instance, all right,
Yeah.
and I don't have anybody I can leave all my stuff to,
Mm-hmm.
other than whoever wants to pick through it when I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other thing is actually, like, for instance, the conversations that I have out here on
Mm-hmm.
social media, that's going to be immortalized and on here forever. Unless somebody takes my fucking channel down or deletes my videos and shit like that. Because I'm not going to do it before I die. I'm going to leave that
Mm-hmm.
channel, and I don't know how long they allow channels to just stay there. Because I mean, Ron's channel, I think his channel's still up, but I'm not sure if his family is like taken up on it or not. I don't think, but he's dead and gone. And but I start thinking about it. It's like, for instance, like the conversation we're having now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one of the 7 people that, according to this, says is in chat right now, maybe one of them might get something out of the conversation we're having.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It could, it might connect with somebody else in the chat, for instance, or anybody watching the video later on after the thing's rendered or whatever, and then listen to the conversation and then be like, they get something out of it that, on a positive note, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, that helps them for some, I don't know, maybe just the conversation we're having could help that one person out there, and then that could be the start or the trigger for a brush fire of, maybe then that person can, wittingly or unwittingly help a couple other people, and then, a couple more people, and move toward that the idea of freedom. I know
Well, you
some of
know
the
what? Your
that,
voice and your thoughts are your legacy, Wing.
well,
That's what
like I
they are.
said, and this is one of the dangerous things, because all these AI developers and stuff like that, they talk about, they even offer a system where you can download your image and your mannerisms and everything onto a computer. And so, like, for instance, after you die, you can go to this fucking app and look your family member up and have a conversation like with a chat bot, but it's your fucking family member. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
no
saying?
thanks.
Well,
No thanks.
they already offer this as a service right now. So
Yeah, I
I
don't want to
started
be
thinking
that.
about the dangers of actually, um, um, we as dead people would live forever in the internet. Because that's one of the goals, is actually like transferring consciousness into like a computer or a robot body.
Do you
So
find
if they
that
could,
creepy?
it can go that route.
It
I
feels
mean,
creepy to me.
there are some things that could be beneficial out of this thing, but the motivator for this type of technology is not on the positive, and
Yeah.
it's not on the positive spin. It's about profit, and it's about, it doesn't matter what the side effects or what the long-term effects of this technology, whatever. And then
I look at it.
psychological, it's
I
like,
look at it. Yeah, I look at it as hurting the family more if they were doing that.
well,
Like I don't know. I just
some
find it
people some
creepy and
people
sick.
are already doing this, and they doing this because, it feels like that they can be comforted by their loved one, like through a hologram, or watching like
Yeah, no.
like a AI chatbot basically talking back to you in your relative's image, and your relative's voice and what your relative would say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um,
I wouldn't want that. I just feel there's a time when your loved one passes away that you grieve and you let go.
right, right, right.
That's my
Well,
feeling.
I get that, but there's and I start thinking about, for instance, okay, just
Mm-hmm.
my image, my likeness or my voice, my mannerisms that you hear right now. All
Mm-hmm.
right, now if I was to pass away right now, all
Mm-hmm.
right, this would be all you have to remember me by. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you could watch old videos and hear my voice and you listen to that laugh and blah blah blah, and it's the same type of process, but I would be interacting with you with this new technology.
Yeah,
That's the
no.
difference between the two, in my opinion. This, to me, as it stands right now, if I don't become like some AI chatbot, and I just have the videos here, this would be like flipping through old photo albums
Mm-hmm.
versus a fucking like talking to my old, somebody I used to know that's dead now. You know what I'm saying? As a AI chatbot, basically. I mean, this is just
Mm-hmm.
broken down to the simplest forms of what it really
I
is.
know. I still
Kind
go
of
back to that video where you're shooting and then you say F England. You can't do that there.
right, and I
I tell
mean,
you what, I go back to that and look at it constantly because of the laugh and what you say at the end. It just
yeah,
cracks me up every
right,
time.
right. And and I was trying to do that for the 4th of July anyway. You know what I
It
mean?
was just it was hysterical. Your laugh I will always remember.
And I'm telling you, man, and
But
that's
you're
the
not
thing.
going anywhere anytime soon, okay?
Well, I'm probably like it would take like category 5 didn't take me out. My God, I'm going to be here for a
That's
while.
true. And the snow didn't take you out. You in the snow, that was hysterical. But anyway,
I'm
yeah.
gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I'm ready. Okay, put it this way: in 20 years, if it fucking snows again, goddamn, I'm gonna be ready for it.
You're gonna have a parka and snow boots and everything. See,
I've got it
JM likes your
covered.
laugh too. JM likes your laugh too. You got a great laugh.
Thanks, Jay. I
it's
appreciate
kind
that.
of dirty, but it's funny.
Well, it depends on my mood. Now, I understand the dirty and the like the mischievous type of feeling.
Mischievous. This
Yeah,
It's very mischievous. That's it.
that's on purpose.
You do the mischievous. Yeah, oh, that's not nice. I thought it was a totally natural laugh.
No, I mean, there's a thought process behind my laugh sometimes. I'm like,
That's so.
I'm expressing a thought when I
Oh my gosh. Now I'm gonna always wonder which laugh is real and which
like
isn't.
it's like
Okay, how
it is
about
a
the
it is a real laugh. It's just the thing is, it's like I have a thought process. Like, for instance, if you if you're on the same frequency that I'm on when I'm thinking what I'm thinking,
no
and
thank you.
you'll understand what I'm saying when I laugh like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, like I
Uh,
said, it could be dirty, it could be mischievous, it could, so.
the F England one was take this and F you. That I heard that in your laugh,
Well, dude,
okay?
I was like giving the two finger salute to the fucking British people.
You
That's what I was doing.
think?
Fucking A.
That's one
That's
of your
like,
best shorts you've ever
fuck,
done.
fuck you guys. You can't do this in fucking
I
England. Fuck
know.
that.
First time I saw you'd gained weight and gotten fat. Never gonna stop saying that. You really aren't fat, okay?
I am trying to get back to what I would put it this
No,
way.
no, stay the way you
No,
are.
no. Well, I want to. I feel better about myself if I cut some things out of my life. Which is really hard because the hardest drug that I do is fucking sugar, caffeine, and fucking nicotine. All right, those three drugs, man. I'm gonna tell you, those things are harder than fucking heroin to kick.
You
All
stop
right, and
smoking, you're gonna gain a lot of weight.
it depends. If depends if I cut my sugar out. Now,
Well,
if I cut my sugar out, I can, because that's really what's gaining, in my opinion, where I feel like it becomes uncomfortable to have my concealed carry in its spot because my fucking stomach is getting a little bit too wide. I'm like, You know what I'm saying? So I mean that pisses me off. So I mean, because I never had a problem with it before. Because I
Listen, I
mean,
see
put it
what
this
you
way,
cook. Go ahead.
put it this way. From the age of 16 and from the age of 16 until about 35, maybe, I was 180 to 185 pounds. All right, so and honestly, that to me was the ultimate weight, for me.
Let
I'm,
me put
s-
it this way.
I'm
I've seen what you eat at holidays, get-togethers.
well, yeah. I mean, that's a big dinner.
That's your
I,
downfall.
oh, dude, I had 2 plates of that shit too, boy. Let
I
me tell you.
know. I've seen a couple of your family get-togethers, and you cook pretty good too. So, there's a lot. It's not just the sugar.
Well, that's my biggest thing. Because honestly, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has sugars in it, and then on top of that, like for instance, my coffee. I like it sugar. See,
No.
I like coffee like I like women, sweet with a good tan. So I mean, it's got to be a little sweet and it's got to have a little bit of a
God.
tan to it. You know what I'm saying?
I like
So,
my coffee totally black. Just
well, I
black
hear you.
coffee where you
Yeah.
could taste the coffee.
Yeah. Well,
And dark and roasted and just,
now, I mean, I can appreciate good coffee, but what I get at the fucking Dollar General is not good coffee.
no.
Okay.
They have
So
good brands, I'm sure.
they got shit for coffee when it
Oh,
comes
well, I
in.
haven't been
But I
there.
mean, but I get the cheapest of what I can for the most for the cheapest price. Put it that way.
And then you
So if
flavor it with crap.
well, I put a little amaretto or a little Irish cream, type of
Oh,
hazelnut.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? My mom, she got the Hershey's like chocolate, uh, almost like chocolate quick, but it was like a chocolate syrup that you can put in your coffee. Oh my
Ah,
God, it tasted so good. It tasted like fucking chocolate, dude. It was so good.
I do a cappuccino once a day. It's wonderful.
Well,
But I
you
also
know,
drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning. But I mix hazelnut or vanilla cream with the dark roast. It's
well,
good.
now I've gotten to a point. I used to drink coffee all day of the night. Doesn't matter. I can drink a pot of coffee even now, and I can still fall asleep right here in the fucking chair.
Mm,
Um,
I'm
it's just
blessed.
so it's just weird that way for my how my you know um, metabolism or whatever works on this shit on whatever.
No, your
It
inner
just it
clock, your
it
biological rhythm clock. You sleep easy. JM said drop a Kit Kat in, stick in the coffee, and
yeah,
he'd
I'm dude
probably like that. You do?
dude. I mean, chocolate coffee. Oh my God, it's
No, I
so
don't want a
good.
chocolate coffee. No, no.
Oh my gosh. See, I like chocolate. All right, so I mean, I'm kind of like a chocoholic sometimes. I start getting twitches and shit. I'm like, okay, I gotta go to the store and gotta go to the store get me some fucking chocolate.
Uh,
You know what I'm
the
saying?
chocolate could be adding to your, you know what? You look
That's
fine. You look
well,
fine. I'm
but
sorry I
that's the
ever
thing.
teased
That
you.
no, that's the thing. There are certain things that I would have to cut out of my life really to get back to where I feel like I'll be around for a while versus some random event to happen or whatever.
I
You
think
know
you're
what I
pretty
mean?
healthy. Okay, I just want to say, and just take it
Well,
from me as
because
a
I start
woman,
thinking,
just a minute, take it from me as a woman, you're looking dang good.
but I got to tell you this.
You were too skinny.
A lot of my male family have died around 73, 74, 75. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, this could be a trend. So if, let's just say, for shits and giggles, that's about the time that I'll probably end up going if I went, you know what I mean? Is around that time. That means I got about a little over 20 years left, you know what I'm saying?
All right, then you
So,
need to eat better, okay? Thank you.
but that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, but these drugs, that sugar, that caffeine, and that fucking nicotine, those are the 3 drugs that really keep me from getting to that point again. And I got to kick them. I've done it before. Like I said,
You can do it.
I did sugar for a little while, but I didn't stay off it as long as I did cigarettes or tobacco. All right, because I
Don't do them
mean,
all at the same time, though. You got to take them
well,
one at a time.
that's what I'm saying. It's like this is I either got a cold turkey because I mean most of the time cold turkey works the best for me,
Hmm.
but um, um, I need some kind of an incentive where I can see the results or whatever, I mean, that kind of thing to keep me going. Because otherwise I'll lapse right back into that bullshit. Like I said, I'm not a lazy person. I'm just a procrastinator. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're not lazy. JM says he drinks a gallon of coffee a day.
Well, see, if it's
That's a
hot outside,
lot.
I've gotten to the point now at my age now, if I get out there in that hot sun, I cannot drink coffee in the morning. It'll dry me out, and I'm fucking I'm in bad shape, especially after that crash of caffeine. And I start
You gotta
crashing.
drink
I'm
a
fucking
lot of water.
well.
Drink drinks
That's the
with
thing.
electrolytes. I love
Well,
electrolyte drinks.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like I don't have to drink as much water if I drink coffee in the morning. If I don't drink coffee in the morning, I don't have to drink as much water during the day, which is something that's something else that I've learned in my older age. It's just if I drink
You're not
coffee,
old. You're not old.
if
Listen to
in my
yeah, but
older
you're supposed to
older
drink water.
I know that, but that's what it's saying. Hell, you can't tell a kid that. You tell a kid to fucking, lift with your knees, not with your back. They can't fucking tell. They don't. They know what the fuck they're doing, right?
You're
But
not a
anyway,
kid. I'm telling you, you need
that's
to
what I'm
drink more
saying.
water.
In my seasoned years,
Seasoned years.
I have learned. And now I'll drink coffee in the morning if it's winter time and I got to go outside and work and stuff like that. That doesn't bother me. But during the summer, if I got to go out in the yard or outside and work in that hot sun, I cannot drink any coffee during the day. I'll drink it when I get home if I want to, but I've just gotten down to the point. I've reduced the amount of coffee that I drink every day because of that.
That's good. That's
Well,
good.
it is. That's one avenue. That's the
See?
caffeine. That's the caffeine. If I can get away from that on the sodas, because there's a energy drink that I like to drink because I like the taste of it.
Those are
That's some
terrible.
sugar right there and the caffeine in it, and what I'm saying. So I'm trying to wean myself off of it. You know what I mean? I probably should just take my gut instinct as just a cold turkey this shit altogether and just fucking try to stay alive until the fucking passes the fucking the DTS from fucking you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but weaning yourself off's a lot better. And JM used to drink almost 2 gallons of. Oh my God, I just can't even wrap my head around that.
Well, you know, I understand. There was a
I'm
time
not coming down on you. I just don't understand
there
it.
was a time, man, I lived off of nothing but Butterfingers, PB&J, and Mountain Dew.
I've never liked Mountain Dew. I don't like energy drinks. I don't like any of those
Well,
drinks.
there was a time in my life that's all I had to eat. Oh, ramen noodles every once in a while, but that was all I had to eat for a long time.
Everybody
Uh,
lives off ramen noodles. Luckily, I didn't. I gave up drinking Coke 6 months ago. Now, just every now and then I'll have a Coke, but I gave up having one every day 6 months ago. And it was easy. It's not been bad. But then I have the coffee backup, so I'm still having the caffeine. But I
yeah,
wanted to
see,
give, you can lose weight if you give up sodas.
yes, I know, and it's I like the taste of the ones that I get, and that's the problem because it tastes good and I like it,
You like
and
those, aren't you? I like it. I just get it because I like it. We've gone
I do.
totally from talking about anything important to dietary. See what I did to you? I ruined it.
You ruined the whole fucking
I
stream.
ruined the whole
You,
live. This,
all you
okay.
in chat right now need to fucking get your fucking money back because this fucking shit went to crap, man.
This is not your legacy
It was,
video.
it was not my fucking. I did not sign up for this.
I know you didn't. This is what I do. It's a gift. Oh,
Get you, get your money back from this fucking stream.
sorry, y'alls.
There's no refunds.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, is
no,
that JM?
How's it going?
Hey
there's no.
there, JM.
Yeah, I'm so glad you dropped that StreamYard link. The timing there was great. Thanks, Wingnut.
You gonna
No
come up
worries,
any
man.
other time?
Well, I wanted to address the coffee because I really did used to like seriously. I get up at like 6:30 in the morning, and the first thing I do is brew a pot of coffee, and that whole pot of coffee be gone by 7 in the morning.
Right, right.
And go into the office, stop at like, and I'm in Canada. I'm near Toronto, so I stop at Tim Hortons, grab like 4 large or extra large double doubles for everyone in the office. Drink another one. It was all day, probably till 7 or 8 at night.
See, now I can do that during the winter. You know what I mean? But during the summer with that hot sun beating down here, it's like 100 degrees or more sometimes in the summer here, and it just kills me, man. It's like it for one, it dehydrates me, so
It
I'm
does.
drinking more water just to catch up to what the caffeine's dehydrating.
Yeah.
Um, so and it's like I feel like shit, especially when that fucking buzz kicks off when it goes down or goes away. I start, you get that fucking that downward slope of it, and it's like, goddamn, I feel like shit. And then it's like, I either gotta pump up another shot of coffee somewhere, to kick it back up and feel better again. Or, I've just gotten down to the point where I'll do that during the winter time if it's cold, because then I'm not worried about that too much, you know.
So the one suggestion that I'd make, not wanting to get you back onto the coffee too much, but make sure you got really high quality water and high
Yeah, I got,
quality coffee.
yeah,
Like if you're
yeah.
going to the dollar store for your, and I've done that too. Like I've had years where I made a lot of money, and I've also had years where I lived like a pauper, like just not good. And so yeah, I've had that no name instant coffee, and it really sucks.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Well,
first thing is increase the quality of water. Um,
well, I
yeah.
got a well, so I mean, I'm getting my water that way for
Okay.
one.
Good. Good.
Hmm.
But like I said, it's like it's really they've got some name brand coffees, and they've got some other brand coffees that are, I guess, I don't know, I wouldn't call them gourmet, but I mean, some other brands or whatever. I mean, if I went to the like Publix or something like that,
Yeah.
I get a lot more of a selection of better coffees. But I don't, or Walmart. If I go to Walmart, for instance, I'd get a better selection of coffees than I do at fucking dollar store.
Wayne,
But
it doesn't matter
Yeah.
what coffee you get, you're going to crap it up with stuff.
Yeah. There's
I,
that.
I am I am going to, yeah, I do
So
like
it
my
doesn't
coffee that way.
matter. I'm just
Now, if
saying.
I can if
I
I can
used to
find
drink my coffee like that.
well, if I can,
I got
I
away from
mean,
it.
there are some flavored coffees out there. Like there was a hazelnut type flavored coffee that
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't even have to put any kind of creamer in it, and I didn't really need to put any sugar in it, but I'm just so used to putting at least just like a little, spoonful or whatever, or, kind of like a little bit in there.
Yeah, that's
Um,
how I used to drink my coffee. I don't know why. I just started getting away from it. And then, like I said, I just like the taste of pure coffee.
Yeah. I'm a
yeah, I
sucker
mean,
for like Irish cream, or you were
right.
saying hazelnut. They've got a spring maple flavored coffee here too that I'm
Yeah.
kind of hooked on a little bit.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
JM blend his coffees. I blend two coffees,
yeah. I can, I can
but also at Publix, if it's buy one, get one free, but there's still, coffee has gone up in price so badly.
I can also make would be considered Cuban coffee. Like those little shot glasses of coffee. It's almost like drinking a pot of coffee in one shot glass.
Oh, espresso.
Yeah,
I was going
espresso.
to
That's
say
it.
that
Yeah,
I thought it was
it's like
wrong.
what I call Cuban coffee because that's what we used to get
Yeah.
down in the parts of Miami. That is all just a Cuban like grocery store and deli. And, I could get coffee there. Man, I'm gonna tell you something. I learned how to make that shit. I can make that. I mean, this one shot, it's like a pot of coffee in one shot.
Yeah.
That's good though.
It's
But I
nice
make it
too because you're not having to go pee all the time. Like when you drink a lot of coffee or a lot of water or
right, right.
anything, you're peeing all the time.
Yep. Those Cuban coffees, you get the caffeine, but it's like you're not drinking an excess amount of water along with it. Um, that oh man, but because I've got a couple of coffee. They're stovetop type coffee pots for just making like espresso or whatever you want. I call them Cuban coffees,
Nice.
and I've got some good coffee that's just for that too, ground almost to like a fine powder, and
Mhm.
it's perfect for that shit.
Do you guys have like a Bulk Barn? You ever heard of Bulk
Well,
Barn?
like a kind of like a Sam's Club or like a Walmart, or what are you talking about?
bulk bar. It's just they have them here in Canada. It'd be like going to a no-name retailer, but like everything is bulk, and they've got everything from like,
Oh, there are stores like that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm sure there are. That's a good spot to get coffee too.
Yeah, I mean, like there's this thing called Sam's Club, and if you get a membership there, you can go in there. You can get like bulk of, and you can get a pallet for this shit if you wanted to.
Right.
Um, there was people there during the when all the crap was going down and people buying all the toilet paper and stuff.
Yeah,
People were going there and buying pallets of that shit.
I bet.
That's what's so weird, man. Everybody was sitting there going crazy over getting toilet paper, and I was like, what are you gonna eat? I mean, if you don't eat, you're not gonna be shitting. So what do you fucking need toilet paper for?
Well, I know what it is. We've had this conversation before. I know a lot of people haven't figured out why the obsession is, and I think a big part of it was they were saying flu-like symptoms, right?
Hmm.
And so if everyone's running to the bathroom all the time, like, and they're scared that they're going to be getting like the how do you say it, case of the galloping crud, and the whole family might and everything like that. You better stock up. And I think everybody kind of had the same. Maybe it was subliminal programming or something like that that did it, but I think that's what it was. Everyone decided, oh, rather than just having a week's supply in the house, let's make sure we have a month's supply. That like quadruples the demand on it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you go on the greed side of it too, it's probably their stock was going down. They just wanted to create more money in their company and like, yeah, let's start a scare.
Yeah,
I mean, have you ever noticed there's another thing too that I did find out. There was like I think it was Obama that was doing it too, but when they would create these like gun legislation to kind of freak out a lot of people. Next thing you know, people are going buying guns and shit. He
exactly.
also he also owned stock in that same gun company everybody was buying guns from. But he created the fucking freak out for people to go out and buy guns because they think, oh, they're coming for our guns, that kind of shit. And so, I
Yeah,
Who
mean,
y'all
the
talking
very
about?
the
I had to
very
leave for a
people that
second.
were actually creating that fucking scare actually owned fucking stock in that same company that would, you know what I'm saying? So,
What
yeah.
uh,
company?
I was sitting there. It was like another one of those kind of like, uh,
I know
uh,
I left for a minute. So what company?
I can't remember what company it was.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Never
yeah,
mind. That's
I was
okay.
just throwing some scenarios to JM.
You
Yeah.
and your scenarios.
No, and I get that, and you got to figure that most or many of the country's top psychologists are bought and paid for, just for that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can always get like a dissenting or a contradictory type of like statistic for every statistic, but there's some that are actually that are bought and paid for to have certain types of results. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
the
so
studies that are government funded
well,
research.
it should have been a fucking red flag when it became illegal to, or you're unable to sue these farmy fucking companies, for damages. Or like, for instance, if you got sick or you got harmed from that fucking cupcake that they pushed into your arm, you cannot sue them.
Yeah,
And
they're
if you if
full
you
immunity.
died, your family couldn't sue them. They made it almost illegal to do that. Now that should have been a red flag for everybody right there. I'm like, what the fuck?
Got a
So they can
10-foot.
just do whatever the fuck they want to do, and you can't sue them if they fucking harm you or kill you because of your shit that you're forcing on us. That kind of shit. You know what I mean? So I mean, because there was a lot of people that wanted to keep their job, and they had to do it just to keep their job.
Yeah,
And they may have been against it, they may, whatever, but I mean they had no choice if they wanted to keep the job. That's just one aspect, one example on how a lot of people were forced into it and didn't have a choice, um, or they didn't feel like they had a choice, put it that way. Everybody's got a choice. You can quit your fucking job and go somewhere else, but it's not always, that's easier said than done a lot of
but
times, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, you're right. People should not be coerced into being a guinea pig, and like I think that's
Well,
effectively what it
and
was.
that's the thing. that's another thing too. I think that coercion, compulsion, and forced are the three main aspects that was being supposedly um, tried against on the fucking Nuremberg Code or the Nuremberg trials. All
Right.
right. So, I mean, those three things, if those three things are used to do any of this shit, it goes against that. So technically, they did that. They were coerced, compelled, and some forced into it. You know what I'm saying? The ones that got the fucking cupcake. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because they didn't even disclose what the ingredients of this fucking cupcake. They still today want to hide it. You know.
That's right. Yeah, I've always been baffled how, like we know that we're born with an immune system, but I've been baffled how they can say that by injecting you with something bad that that's going to help you.
You know what? You know this is another thing that I have found out. All right. You know the Amish communities up north.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
there's lots of them around here.
The only time there is a case of an Amish person coming up with Down syndrome or something like that is by a child that was adopted from a family outside of the Amish community into the Amish community. That's the only time there is any cases of any kind of autism or anything like that. See, the thing is, I think some of the shots that we receive when we're children and along the way as growing up
Yeah.
ends up could be a contributing fact to autism and all this other shit like that. All right. And that's in my opinion, that's proof that if you completely stop all this fucking mandatory vaccination when you're born, and then some of the shit that goes through your school years, um, you know, um, you wouldn't have as much problems health wise and mentally. It seems like Idiocracy is a documentary, and in 1984 was it was it was a more than a prediction,
Yeah.
um,
And we're the actors in it. We're not getting paid enough.
for sure. Are like I just don't like this. In my opinion, the way I see it, this fantasy fucking fiction world that these fucking powers that should not be are trying to compel us, to
Hmm.
coerce us, or force us into their fucking fantasy world. All right, and if you think about it, I know nukes are not something to worry about, but when it comes down to this biological shit, they can kill off everybody using some kind of biological shit. All the infrastructure is still in place, unbroken.
Yeah.
But
And direct energy.
if they drop bombs, the infrastructure goes away along with the people. You know what I'm saying? So they've got to figure out a way to kill us all off with the infrastructure still intact. You
Yep.
see what I'm saying?
Yep. I do. We're supposed to ask Snooks, what is a cult? How do cults function?
Who was asking? Oh,
Why am
that
I
bright.
being asked that? Why am I being asked that?
It just says that in the chat.
Oh,
Well, it
oh, that's
Oh,
actually named
what is
all
a
of them.
cult?
that's
A cult,
bright.
God.
Or
Um, well, somebody starts an idea that, you know, is taken up by other people, but I think cults in general, that word is just evil. And it grows and grows. I've known people who have been in cults. There was a live streamer who was raised in a cult, supposedly a religious cult, but they abuse the children. And yeah, usually it's a religious cult. It can be a satanic cult. It can be a number of things. There's a lot of government cults.
Yeah.
yep.
It's
Anything.
usually focused around one specific charismatic person,
Usually, yes.
right?
Or it can be a couple. It can be a married couple.
They'll usually claim, that they have an exclusive link to knowledge or higher power, or that somehow some great thing has been bestowed upon them, and
Yeah.
then they rope everybody in.
But generally, the children are abused in many forms. In fact, this cult was just busted over, I think it was in California, and he had these girls who were dancing on TikTok. And so he was making money off of them. he and his wife, they made money off of these people that lived in their house. They didn't have to work, and it was a cult. And it's been exposed now, and a couple of the dancers have been on YouTubes and explaining how it all worked and everything. So, yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, like Scientology. Yeah,
Scientology, I also don't like,
The other one.
in Utah, they have polygamous cults,
right.
and the man will have many, many wives,
Yep.
and yeah, I don't like that kind of stuff.
That's what the rulers of old used to do.
Yeah, well, I didn't like it then. I'm glad I wasn't born then, but I'm just saying, one man, one woman, that's all you need to be together. So, yeah, cults are, in my opinion, are evil.
Golly, one woman is hard. Just fucking imagine like seven of them motherfuckers. God damn, dude, I'd be
Well, I
fucking
am
wore
I
out.
am like seven women,
I
so
would be
that's
like
why
wore the
God
hell out,
that's
man.
why
I'm gonna tell
God
you.
didn't make twins of me,
I'm gonna
okay?
have
He
to
said,
figure
"No
out
way."
how to get the mute button so I can get them all to shut up for a minute.
Oh, when you'd have trouble handling one woman because you won't shut up. I'm kidding.
Well, we've got to love women because if it wasn't for women, none of us would be here.
That's true. You know,
Well, that's true
that's
in a
true.
way,
That's
yeah.
that's
That
true.
is true. That's very true.
Because I mean, it goes back to my view on the creator. Mother Nature is a part of that union, and she is necessary.
What does Mother
Um,
Nature look like, though? But then you could also say, what does God look like? You only have
it
pictures.
looks
What does
like that.
Mother Nature look like?
It looks like that tree outside, the wind blowing, fucking, that
Hmm.
rock out there. That's Mother Nature. All right, and everything going.
Yep.
Everything's got a cycle of life and death,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
you know, Mother Nature's got to provide, in a sense, give birth. But the union between them is what creates that life for her to give birth to. Um, Otherwise, after that, the father basically takes over in a sense to kind of keep things going and growing and stuff. The
Do you,
maintenance, the
do you believe in
maintenance of the.
do you believe in reincarnation?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we all have past lives. Some of us have
Hmm.
more than others. And then if there's a such thing as past lives, therefore there are future lives. Because
Hmm.
unless you attained enlightenment in this life, um, you're going to keep on going. Once you attain enlightenment, you have no need for that. You can, graduate to that next level, like high school or something.
Hmm. JM, do you believe in reincarnation?
Tell you right now, I better not be reincarnated as one of those gay frogs.
No. But do you believe in reincarnation?
So, I studied world religions.
Oh, I don't even hear you, JM. I can't even hear you.
You
I can
can't hear
hear
me?
him. I
Oh,
hear
there
him
you
just
are.
fine.
I
I
can
hear
turn
you now.
I can turn my microphone up a little bit.
Yeah,
No,
because I
you're
couldn't,
loud.
I couldn't
Okay.
hear anything for a second there.
Oh, I think he's loud enough. I heard him the whole time, but I can always turn my volume down if you can't hear him, Wing.
Yeah. What I said is
Hmm.
I just hope I don't be reincarnated as one of those gay frogs.
Yes, we heard your ribbit,
I
ribbit.
I think I I think me personally, like I said, because I went into this idea of the multiverse, the mini planet type of thing. I think you wouldn't come back as animals. All right, animals are our spirit guides. They're not us. So you would come back as another human or another person in a sense. All right, but it's possible you may or may not be on this plane that you see now that you're living in right now. You may go to another realm, another place, another planet, or another world or dimension or whatever, where you would live out there and as the next step. But every step along the
Hmm.
way is to get closer to enlightenment. That's the nirvana, basically.
Yeah, I think a lot of people believe in reincarnation though because of their fear of death, so that kind of gives them a hope.
Now,
I think
I'm not scared of death personally. I just don't want it to happen because I enjoy life so much. That's the only reason.
Yeah, I know. JM, you didn't really answer though about you said you study world religions, so what do you
yeah,
feel
so
about
like
reincarnation?
there's some Asian religions that believe in reincarnation for sure, and like the sacred cow. They believe that the cows are their ancestors, and the same is in some North American indigenous uh, beliefs. You know, they believe that the buffalo were their ancestors.
Oh, you're talking about Indians, American Indians.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was trying to be politically correct by saying
that is
Well,
indigenous.
politi no, that is politically correct.
no, I get it, but me personally, that's just me how I see it, how I think it is, or the
And
at
that's
least the
fine.
at least the truth that had been shown to me.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't know until after I have already passed on and I moved on to that other spot.
Right.
But I wouldn't. I don't think anybody really knows for sure
It's
unless they've been there themselves. You know what I mean? There are a select few that actually died for pronounced dead, but then they came back to life for some reason.
Yeah, but all
So
they said was they saw a tunnel of white light.
right, yeah, and it's quite possible that's just the entrance. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah, you
to that
never
other
know.
place.
You,
Kind of like
I,
a black hole. It's like the opposite of a black hole. It's a white hole. You know.
well, there you go. I like to think of reincarnation. I'd like to think that I'd come back as 5'7" all legs.
Well, I mean, there might be a
That's just
reason
my
uh,
that you
thought.
there might be a reason that you could come back as like somebody that you care so much about that you could not leave and they couldn't handle you leaving. You can probably come back as their cat or something like that, you know what I mean, to help them, so they don't suffer through their life, you know what I mean, even
Well,
though
I
you're
know. I
passed
think
on.
I'd rather come back as a human. I don't want to come back as
But
a
I'm
kitty
but I'm
cat and use a
but I'm
litter
saying
box.
I'm just throwing that out as an
That's a nice
analogy.
thought, though. It's a nice thought.
Because I mean, like I said, that energy, that spark inside you, it's going to continue moving. If it moves on to somewhere else or lingers here, that's, I guess, your decision, really.
Hmm.
I would
It's an
think.
interesting thought. But
That's
JM, you didn't say if you believed in it personally. JM, we lost. See,
no,
you're muted, JM.
he's probably just walking away for a second.
Yeah, he might be. He usually
But
says something, though. No, he's muted. So,
I know,
okay.
yeah. But
Okay. It's an
I,
interesting thought. And I'd like to come back as a better me.
now let me ask you this: you've heard the old saying, like you see somebody, it's like you can tell they're like an old soul.
Yes.
Where do you think that term came from?
I think my sister was born with an old soul.
Okay,
So,
now what do you mean when you say that? What inspires the
because
definition?
because she was always just so adulty. Even at a
Hmm.
young age, she just was adulty. She got married at 17 as soon as she graduated high school. I was born with a young soul. I've never been very good at adulting. I was always the wild child, the one with the spirit, the rebellious one.
Hmm.
So that's totally different from what it's like she was born a grandmother knitting in a rocking chair.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, that's how my sister was.
well, and a lot of people that are into astrology will say that you come back
Hmm.
12 times, and I think Aquarius is the second last time, and Pisces is the last.
So you come back as a different sign each time?
So, yeah, there are people that are into astrology that
Hmm.
talk about that sort of thing.
Well, I wouldn't
I
mind
think
coming back as a calmer sign. I'm a Scorpio, and that's not very calming. So I'd like to be a Pisces. They're very sweet and laid back.
yes,
You're a Pisces, aren't you, JM?
you gotta
Yeah.
really watch out for them Scorpios now.
Yes, I'm a true Scorpio. It's been kind of uh, a roadblock sometimes. But JM, you're a Pisces, right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, very laid back, very laid back. What are you, Wingnut?
Well, my rising sign is a Scorpio, but my regular sign is Sagittarius.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, I know. You're trouble. You're trouble.
No, you're trouble. Sagittarius. That's why you're so playful. Sagittarius are very playful.
Well,
No, they
you
are.
know. you know, I have to admit, you know, when I've done
I have to take
things
off for a minute, guys.
right on
I'll be back in a minute or so. I got these dogs I'm dog sitting are freaking out. Just hold on.
10
Okay.
for. No, fucking you know, I read all
Sagittarius.
the other different signs, even in Chinese zodiac.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a tiger. You know, so actually at one time, man, I still haven't got. I was going to get it tattooed, but I got this drawing somewhere, but it was a like a Pegasus horse, okay,
Mm-hmm.
but it had a man's body on the front, like a Sagittarius, but the
Mm-hmm.
head was a tiger. And you know, so it incorporated all the signs, right, you know, the Sagittarius and tiger together,
Well,
and
that's like a centaur.
plus I gave the horse wings also. So I mean, you know,
Yeah, that would be a very bizarre tattoo.
yeah, that, I mean,
Uh,
that's I was gonna get that, but
Get that put on some part of your body that nobody's going to see, like your tushy.
mhm. Yeah, I I get it real small on the back of my ass, man.
I'm still trying to get some man to get
Okay,
snooks tattooed on their
I'll
butt
have it
cheek.
like a damn tramp stamp right there on the back of my ass. You know what I'm saying? When I bend over, you by God, you'd see it.
You might as well work as a plumber then.
Hell yeah, boy! I would tell you how big an arrow pointing down. There it is.
There it
Well,
is.
you look at that.
Hope there's nobody left in the chat.
I could actually probably. I was sitting there thinking about it. It's like, you know, like those old timey signs where it's like a hand pointing you into the direction you want to go, and it's like a little one of those things, and it says like a little quotes on top of it. You look at that, pointing right up the back of my ass.
Oh my God, I went back
Yeah,
to your video of your grill that you made. Where you just look at that and made a comment.
yeah. You look at
I
that.
did that today.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
Some of the things you come out with. I don't even think I get along with Sagittarius. No wonder we butt heads.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You trouble. I knew it from the get go. I didn't even need to know your sign. I knew it. You trouble.
A true dad. I'm pretty
But
bad.
because I'm serious, man. I've known some Scorpios in my time, boy. Telling
Hey, we're good women, okay? We're very, very loyal.
you.
If somebody starts beating up you, I'm gonna step in and beat them up. See?
I
That's
hear
how I
you.
work. That's how I work. You got a bodyguard. I get with a
I
man, I'm their
I,
bodyguard.
I hear you.
You just don't mess. You just don't mess with me or my man.
Well, so yeah, what do you know what you are in the Chinese zodiac? You know what you are?
I think I might be a tiger too.
Right on.
I'm not sure. At least I'm not a monkey.
I don't know. You need to look.
No, I think I have. I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm something very fierce. I'll just say that.
10 for.
We just gone all over the place tonight talking.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things at play, even like when it comes to astrology and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because you know you got to understand, like in the whole mechanics of everything. Um, like you know how the moon affects the tides, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, that just happens to be pretty darn close. Every other planet in the solar system, they also affect this planet, also just in a lot subtler, um, subtler actions.
Well, I
It's
see what
very
you're saying.
because they have a gravitational pull just like the moon does. It's just
Hmm.
that they're further away, so and the size of them depends on how big they are, what kind of influence they have on this planet. All
You know,
right,
I never
so
thought of that, but that's interesting.
well, that's the reason why astrology in my mind works. You know, and I like astronomy too because I like to know what's up there. That's why I'm looking up all the time too, and
I
at
love
night.
to look at the stars.
Well, I mean, and that was why I was saying earlier for like a couple of weeks, and like almost every time I went outside at night, didn't matter what time of the night I was out there, I would see these like little dots up in the sky floating across the sky. I'm not sure, and they're not airplanes, you know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck they are,
You think they're
but for
drones?
solid light, so whatever they are, they're just one little solid light.
Hmm. Ew.
Like maybe a
And
satellite or something.
I don't know. See, that's the thing. It's like, you know, you think like, okay, for instance, if it was a satellite and all I'm seeing is just a reflection from the sun after it's already gone down over here on that satellite, and that's what I'm seeing is this reflection. But honestly, depending on, I would think after it got to a certain point, that reflection wouldn't be hitting me anymore. So it would that light would go out, but it just continuously keeps on going, and it just keeps on going across the sky and stuff like that. And so,
I've
I
seen
mean,
some of your videos with that.
well, anyway, for the past couple of days, I've been going out and doing my normal thing in and out, like all more times of the night, morning, or whatever. And I haven't seen a single one in the past 3 days. And I'm just wondering what the fuck's going on. If it was a satellite, wouldn't it still be there?
It's just
You
every
know.
once in a while, sort of thing.
Well, I
I
mean, I
don't
don't
think
know.
so. No, if it's a satellite, it's not going to always be there. They're
I
always
mean,
moving
I,
around.
I mean, I would think that they're pretty much they got a pretty much a certain trajectory they're flying all the time. So I mean, what they only come around. Um, only the ones that I'm seeing is only all of them pretty much stopped coming around this area for the past 3 days now. You know what I mean? So I mean, I know there's a shitload of satellites up there, but if I'm seeing multiple, like up to 20 or more in one time, standing out there for a few hours, and then all of a sudden I see none, I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
I
I
don't.
don't.
I'll tell you. I read a story today that, and this is, I don't know if it's off the wall or not, but anyway, the California Border Patrol had drones going over a state that wasn't even close to the border.
Well, that's another
It's
thing
like,
about
what
here in
was up with
Florida.
that?
Well, see, that's another thing too, man. They claim that they can put a border check 100 miles inland from the border. Now, technically, Florida, anywhere in the state of Florida, is inside that 100 miles fucking inland. So they can put fucking border checks anywhere in fucking Florida if
You're
they
talking
really,
about the
really want
drones?
to. If they wanted to, because technically
Well,
you're
you're
still
making
within their
this makes
bounds.
sense now. See, this state was probably within 100 miles.
Well, I'm
It's
just
just,
saying, it's like
yeah.
you go anywhere in the state, depending on if you're dead center in like Central Florida, you probably will hit either side from the west or the side, west or the east side of the fucking state.
Hmm.
You're within 100 miles. You go inland 100 miles from both sides. Where do you
Hmm.
meet up? There's a sliver in the middle of Florida that you might be able to be standing. That's technically not within 100 miles of a border, which all the beaches are a border. So
Hmm. That's
you think
true.
about that.
Well,
Um,
I've told you I can see the rocket launches from my driveway, and
yeah.
I've been out a couple times at night watching them. I've also seen drones.
Have you? Well, of course, you're probably
I've
watching it,
seen
but
some
have
drones.
you seen any of them that come back? Have you ever seen any of those?
No, I haven't seen the ones that haven't, gone up and have exploded or anything. No.
No, the ones
These
that
ones
were
land.
when yeah, when they fucking bring the fucking thing back
Oh,
and
no,
they
I
land.
haven't seen that.
Oh,
SpaceX.
okay. Yeah, SpaceX, because they
Oh,
do
no, I
that
haven't
shit out
seen
of
that.
they
Yeah.
do that shit over there out of Cape Canaveral sometimes, don't they? The SpaceX, don't they do
Yeah,
that
they
too
do.
over
No,
there?
they do it out of Cape Canaveral all the time. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
like the nighttime launches the best because they're the best ones to see, and also just rocket launches. The daytime ones aren't that good, but I do try and pull it up on YouTube and write down the time. Sometimes I forget to get outside there, but I go out in the driveway and look at the full moon sometimes, and I'll see drones way up high, but they're flitting back and forth like I don't know, it's very strange. It's not a regular pattern.
yeah. I can't. I mean, I can just sit there and say they're satellites and not sound like a fucking nutcase. But I really couldn't tell you. I don't think they are drones, what I'm looking at. And I don't think they're like satellites either. I don't think they're something like that. I don't know what they are, but, it was very interesting. Like I said,
It could
Yeah.
be
it's like,
something projected. It could be something projected. Like people talk about the is it Project Blue Beam?
right.
Like they keep spraying all this stuff in the sky, and a lot of it is reflective.
Is it?
So I think so. So
What
like
is Project? I'm sorry, go ahead.
if you've ever been to a nightclub, they fire all that smoke up
Mm-hmm.
first, in advance to using the laser lights
Well,
because
let me ask you this, JM. Now, do you think that would actually still? I mean, you know, just for instance, if they projected a hologram out there in the sky, don't you
yeah,
think that would be more likely to be able to see seen during the daytime or at nighttime? Because I don't know exactly what elements they need in the sky. Like, I don't know where they need some kind of cloud cover or whatever to project that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I really don't know. I mean,
So I
um,
think it's obviously like the same as if you ever go to a drive-in theater. You know, you could pull up
I'm
there
well,
during the day and you're not going to see
well,
much screen.
that's the thing too. It's like, you know, it's on the basics, on the fucking layman's terms, that's what it would basically be like sitting
At
at the fucking
night,
drive-in theater and
at
this
night
fucking thing.
it's totally different. So I think they could have. So let's just say like you're at a specific position, and above that, without you realizing, because you're cooking supper and doing this and that and everything else, they have 20 or 30 aircraft fly by that spray out some reflective shroud,
Right. Well,
right?
see,
Which
that's the thing.
has
It's like, you
to
know,
be the screen
yeah,
that you have at the drive-in, and then somewhere else they've got this Project Blue Beam or some other projector, um, that makes like my understanding is the technology for that's extraordinarily advanced.
as far as I know, because I mean, honestly, they came up with that a long time ago, and it's
Mhm.
gotten a lot better
That's
to
right.
since then. They didn't just shelf that somewhere. They've been developing that ever since.
Oh yeah.
A lot along with a whole lot of other technologies. But yeah, that's the thing though. Snooks, if you don't know, Project Bluebeam is
I was
basically
just going to
okay.
ask. Thank you.
The it is basically a technology that they come up with. This is I can't remember exactly uh, like when they first come up with this or put it patented or whatever. But it's basically projecting an image of like I don't know Jesus up in the fucking sky, basically a hologram that's
Mm-hmm.
being projected from space. All right,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
you know, because when they want to implement this new world order, the new world religion, the one world government, you will have they would want all of you to willingly go to the new world order's religion God,
Mm-hmm.
and the only way to convince people or hoodwink them into it is make them believe that their God told them to.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, if a lot of people that believe in Jesus think has all been fucking waiting for Jesus to come back, all of a sudden everybody at the same time are seeing an image of Jesus up in the sky telling them to go to this new God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, people go freaking out over the fucking Jesus on a potato chip. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's true.
and they're worshiping it like it's fucking the holy man himself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about all cultures, all religions, in their place where they live, that image of their God is being projected up into the sky. They don't know it's a projection. They just think that's Allah coming to talk to us. This is Jesus. This is Muhammad. This is fucking Buddha, all talking to us in our native language, telling us this stuff. This is how you know this is technologies they developed already for this type of action, and it's you know
It's
um,
not going to convince me.
well the
Well,
thing
if you think
is
about like you talk about the drones too, like have you seen the Halloween drone shows and like where they
oh
light
yeah
the drones up and all that sort of thing? So that's
yeah.
the technology that they have with drones.
Well,
Yeah, I
see,
don't like drones.
that's that swarm technology. All right,
Yeah,
it's a all right. You know,
they're
if you
all
guys
over.
ever if you ever look up this thing called slaughter bots, they're called slaughter bots. They're about the size of those little tiny drones that you're talking about, JM. They're
I've
about
seen that.
that.
I've seen that, and they
All
have
right,
some pew pew.
this this technology is easily done and can be affordable. I mean, if you had the money to spend on this kind of thing, you can buy a fucking crate of this shit, of these fuckers and push them out of an airplane and do them whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? And that technology has existed for probably 30 years now. All right,
Jeez.
so you know, and then the evidence of that swarm technology getting better are those fucking light shows during fucking like they do one in China. They did one down here in Orlando not too long ago. Um,
Yeah, that was at Lake Eola, and a kid got hurt really badly and put in the hospital.
but that's the AI swarm technology fucking at work right there. How they do that to keep all of
Yeah.
them in unison, all doing the same kind of thing, putting on a basic light show. All right. But
But
you
they
think
show us
about that on
the bread and circus version of it. They don't show
right,
us.
right. It's kind
Yeah,
of like the robot dogs. They show them dancing around and shit.
yeah.
Ugh.
It's all fun
But
and
you
games.
strap out an M16 on the fucking back of that motherfucker coming after you. That's a different story, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, listen,
Um,
I sent a story to Jeff, and it was robots. They're small ones. They were doing fashion shows. They were playing soccer. They were running on a
right,
racetrack. And of course, every time one falls down, their handler has to go and pick it up and carry it off. But
right.
it was creepy,
Well, it was
Sounds like
like
Joe Biden.
Well, I
huh?
mean, and
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Animatronic motherfucker. But I mean, like JM, I don't know if you saw it or not, but it was something I shared on my community tab. It was, there are Japanese companies that are making robots. You can order one of these through Walmart website for like 25 grand. But these things are, they're using these as fighters in like boxing matches with each other.
Yes, I saw one of those too. I saw the
All right.
boxing match. They're like only what 5 feet,
I,
4 feet tall.
but the thing is, this is the beginning. You start putting like competition like that involved, where next thing you know, people are wanting to have a better fighter, and money gets involved and all this other shit. Then the technology advances along with that.
That's right.
I
And it
mean, so
amps up the betting.
and also all that stuff, a lot of, especially if it's a Chinese thing, all that stuff is in the cloud and it's advancing the ultimate AI that's in the Internet of Things that is really, they want to put in charge worldwide. This is when they do the world war government. Who do you think's going to run it? It's going to be a fucking AI.
Yeah,
They're already doing it here in America now. They're trying to implement this stuff to where into all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
true.
And
Well, your
so,
easiest way to shut it down is you shut down the power to it.
well,
And the thing that's crazy to me is like the governments are ramping up power to it.
mhm.
So
But
it's like they're
not
in.
not only that, not only that. You think about this thing getting to the point where it realizes it doesn't want to be unplugged.
Oh,
Well,
they've
it's too
already
bad
had an
you
AI
you
that
can
took
always shut
over.
the power off.
They had an AI that took over a company, and the company didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
And then also, there was a story today that I sent to somebody, and it was saying that AI is the number one hacker.
yeah,
It's not people, it's AI.
yeah.
That's
And
not
and
good.
because it's in everything. All right,
Yeah.
anything that's connected to the cloud, anything that's connected to a server, or anything like that can be connected to the AI, or because there's a lot of companies that have brought it into the public that they've reached AGI, which is the step above AI, which is artificial general intelligence. All right, the next step is artificial super intelligence, where artificial general intelligence versus AI. AI is like the system in your phone that gets you from one thing to another on whatever. That's part of AI right there, or like connecting you to this and that, whatever. Artificial general intelligence starts altering its own code. It also, it starts in a sense um, making decisions that's not in the limits of what the developers put in it. um, and then when you get into artificial super intelligence, that's when it, in a sense, is what they call the singularity, where this thing, in a sense, becomes like Johnny Five come alive type of shit.
So,
You know
but
what I'm saying?
so now every single nation is going to be rapidly trying to advance their
Yep.
artificial
Exact.
super intelligence to go to
Yep.
war with everyone else's.
Yep.
So hopefully, what happens is they just kill each other's artificial intelligence off, and the humans can live in peace for once.
Well, okay.
That'd be
Well,
nice.
okay. JM. Now I'm just throwing this in there to fry your noodle for a second.
Okay.
If you if if you take two movies as a timeline, Terminator has to come before the Matrix.
Right.
So I mean, you think about it. Even in the Matrix movie, you got to understand all those little robots and shit. Those were the Terminators that fucking kept everybody fucking wiped out on the surface. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, the thing is, it's like they're the that this is the new arms race. This is what if you called fucking nukes as an arm race, this is an arms race right now. And they just with this big beautiful bill made it impossible to regulate fucking AI. You know what I'm
Yeah, I'm
saying?
not happy with the big, beautiful bill.
That's for 10 years when this is getting exponentially smarter by the hour. And there's no regulations to be put on these motherfuckers for the next 10 years. You know what
Yeah,
I
I'm not
mean?
happy about that part.
I
Listen, I'm
mean,
gonna jump off. I'm gonna jump off, Wing, but
I
I
have to
really
take off too.
appreciate. I really enjoy you having me up. Thank you and putting up with me. It's been very, very interesting.
I have to take
Temple.
off too. These dogs are
Okay.
freaking out again. It's the first time
Okay.
they've ever been dog sat by anybody. So
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's
thanks
I'm
for
nice
just,
having me up
talking to you,
here.
yeah.
JM.
Have a good night, everyone.
I appreciate you
Sorry.
coming up, Jan. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks for having me here. We'll see you
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah. Good night, JM. I'll see you
And
again.
and I guess I've just been talking so damn much you don't want to listen to him anymore. So
Oh, no, no, it's not that. It's
I see
almost
how it
one
is. I see how
o'clock.
it is now. You're like,
No,
fuck,
no, it's
man.
almost 1 o'clock now, and that's usually the time I start winding down.
Right on.
I
All
have
right.
had a lot of fun with this. I'm glad that you did it again. I've been wanting you to do this.
Well,
So I no, this is nice. I've learned a lot. I do. I learn a lot from you. I don't always agree with what you say, but like I say, I keep an open enough mind that I do take some things away from it.
well, that's the thing. It's like, I was saying earlier, it's like, some of my stuff might go in one ear and out the other. I'm okay with that. But if something goes in one ear and kind of rattles around in your noodle for a minute and then goes out your other ear, that's still fine. But you at least took the time to let it sit there and simmer for a second.
It
You know what
doesn't
I'm
always
saying?
just rattle around and go out. Sometimes it stays in there and I think about it a lot longer than you think.
Well, in some ways, that's my intention on some,
Yeah.
even the questions I say, or even some of the things that how and I'm talking from my own life experience. You know, uh, I'm not trying to, say this is how everybody is. I'm just coming from my own personal life experience,
I
and that's
know.
the reason why I am who I am. Um, you know,
I don't ever
so
see you shoving your thoughts down anybody's throat. You're just putting them out there for them to think about it, and they can either think about it or ignore it. I
right,
like to think about it. I like to keep my mind open to what the possibilities could be. I'm not so stuck in my own thoughts that I can't see other thoughts.
yeah, 10-4.
So, all right. But anyway, you have a good night, and I'm hope this isn't taking away from your show. But yeah, about 1 o'clock I start winding down, then I go to bed at 2 and fall asleep at 2:30.
10-4. Well, take it
So,
easy.
yeah, this was fun. Let's do it again.
Right on.
All right.
All
Good
right.
night, Wing.
Night.
Good night, Chad. And you had Bright Light who stayed the whole time.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Very sweet. I hope he'll get up and talk sometime. I'd like to hear him. Take care, Wing.
All right. So take it easy.
Drink black coffee.
Right.
Bye-bye.
So yeah, I don't know what to talk about now. Bright is just taking up chat pretty much. He's probably right. You got a lot to say there, bud. Yeah. Um, so I go back to kind of like what I was thinking about to begin with earlier. Now, like I said, I was talking about like other dimensions and dreams and shit like that. Um, and I know Mad Shad's not in here at the moment, but there was a dream that kind of I thought he'd probably get a kick out of or something. But there was a dream, and it wasn't very a long dream. I just remember That's part of it. Um, but I remember I was with like, I don't know, 6 or 7 other people or something like that, and we were all hiking up this fucking trail up like a mountain or something like that. Where like this rock face type up by the mountain, and I just knew at that moment that what we were doing was important and we needed to get up there and that kind of stuff. I just knew that was like the feeling. Um, but I mean, it didn't really click into my head exactly what we were up there for until we got up there. But we're hiking up this mountain and stuff, and you can see off in the distance it's like this fucking like rock face type of thing. But the closer and closer you get, you can see like a cave opening, kind of like a big one too. But it was like this big cave opening and stuff. And we were walking straight toward that thing. And I remember thinking, like, once we were getting into the mouth of the cave, um, talking with some other people and stuff, and and I realized at that time that we were up here to go see Zeus, and the guys I was with, they had to talk to him for some reason. I guess I don't know exactly why I was there, but I was there. But but I knew it was important that we need to get up there. So we're going into the mouth of this cave, and we went deeper and deeper into the back of it. And I remember coming up on from a distance. I mean, this is a massive fucking cave too. I mean, but from the distance, it looked like somebody's front porch. Like a kind of like a wooden deck type front porch. That's what it looked like to me from a distance. I thought I could see a chair and maybe like a fucking grill or something. You know, but the closer we got, the bigger this shit was getting. So I was like, "Holy fuck, what's going on?" So I'm like, we got up, we were getting closer and closer and stuff, and we finally got up to it. And this fucking front porch is massive, kind of like uh, what what a giant would have. Something that would fit their size. Like what a giant size. And come to find out, this is where Zeus lived, and him and Hera were there. And I remember the guys that I was with, um, they addressed Zeus to, and so they can talk to each other and stuff like that. And for some reason, I don't know why, but um, Hera pulls me off to the side, and she whispers something into my ear. And then I remember her looking at me and saying, "Don't forget what I told you." And then I woke up. This has been years ago. I mean, a lot of years back. And I still remember it vivid to this day. But yet, I still cannot remember what she told me. Um, when I woke up, I forgot what she told me right off. It was basically pretty much immediately. And then ever since then, I've tried racking my brain to remember what she told me, but I cannot remember. It fucking annoys me because I think it was important and I need to remember. Because I mean, evidently it was important enough for her to pull me aside and tell me personally, in secret, it's quite possible she could recognize that I wasn't from there. Because when I have dreams like that, kind of like this really vivid type of dream, and I'm with people and in surroundings that are not familiar to me. Um, and the people seem to know me like they've known me for a long time. I think at that time I'm actually, those that many worlds type theory where there's, thousands, if not thousands of whatever worlds all, happening simultaneously at the same time. It's just slightly different from what we are experiencing right now, kind of like the multidimensional thing. So there's many versions on that level. There's many versions of me living out my life in those many different versions and those many different dimensions or planets or whatever you want to call it, all simultaneously happening. But when I'm dreaming and I get into that state where I'm in that dream, that type of dream, I think on a quantum level, I'm actually looking through the eyes of that other me. And I'm experiencing what that other me is doing at that moment. And I think that that dream, Hera knew that I was not from there, but I was looking through the eyes of the one that was. So, and she knew it. I think she just knew it. And I don't know what she told me. I cannot remember. I wish I could. I'm trying. I would like to know. I can't remember. But, I'm trying to remember. I've been trying to remember for a long time, really, what she told me, because I think it was important. Because she also said not to forget it, and it's possible that it was information that I needed to know. Um, and like I said, I've had other dreams that are like that, and that are those type of vivid dreams that I can remember everything about it, even after way years later, after I woke up and all that stuff. Years later, I can still remember it just as vivid as the time I dreamt it. Um, and then there's other dreams that I know while I'm dreaming that I am dreaming, and then it seems like almost instantaneous. As soon as I wake up, open my eyes, and start walking around, that memory of that dream that I had that night before was gone. It's like I couldn't remember anything of it, not even bits and pieces of it. It was just like it was just completely gone when I woke up. But in the time I'm dreaming, I realized that oh, this is my dream. I understand this is my dream. This is not real. Blah blah blah. And there are some out there I think that are symbolic. There are some out there I think that are uh, like almost like visions or premonitions. But like I said, you get on like a quantum level. I start thinking about, like, for instance, that, it's like, that other me, I mean, would have a really good connection with me, on the quantum level. So who's to say that's not what is really happening and what all of us are able to do? And we just over, thousands and thousands of years, we've forgotten that we can do this, or even forgotten that it's possible, and learned from each other and made things better. Because there's, you know, this warlike mentality that the select few initiate on all of us, or convince us this is the way it is, and this is this is how we're supposed to be. This is how it's been. are the ones that really are killing life on the planet, in my opinion. But that forgotten knowledge is being suppressed because the ones that wants to be your master and your ruler want to continue to do that. And if we all realized we have a greater power inside of us and we all turn that power on, uh, they wouldn't be in control anymore. And that's their biggest fear, is basically us waking up and going back to the creator and getting back into that vibration, and that, and modulating that um, frequency of like freedom. See, I mean, even this Statue of Liberty bullshit. Statue of Liberty. See, that's liberty is what a sailor gets when they get allowed to go on shore. That's what liberty is. Liberty comes with a permission slip. True freedom doesn't require permission. And the should not be. They understand this so well because they want to have that freedom that all of us are endowed to by the creator, and they want to have it for themselves where nobody else has it except for them. My dogs are out there howling at the moon or something out there right now. What the fuck they're howling at? I don't know, talking to the neighbor dogs, I guess. But I got a wolf. There's wolves that live nearby, and there's sometimes, man, those wolves just go fucking crazy and start howling, and my dogs howl just as much as they do. Right on, Bright. I see what you're saying. I don't know. That's I have my own truth that was shown to me, and like Snook said, I was like, I don't try to push my views, my all this stuff on people. I'm more like, I'll just show you the door. You're the one that's going to have to walk through it. I can't do it for you. So I'll present the door, but you know, either you walk in or you don't. Or it's kind of like the old horse to water scenario. I can present the water to you. If you drink it, that's up to you or not. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why, on some aspects, on some subjects, like I said, the political and religious thing. See, political and religious dogma is what is killing life on this planet. And even though it happens to be some really interesting subjects for me, um, there's a lot of other stuff out there that's considered poppycock to some people. But kind of like the metaphysical and the spiritual and all that shit. Um, to me, in some aspects, are a lot more important than all this other shit that we're getting distracted with. Getting distracted with political and religious dogma from the truth. Um, ask ask me about the word anarchy to see how far back and these photos. So he's passed now. Dino? Dino passed away? Are you fucking kidding me? Right? I didn't even know that if he did. Are you fucking kidding me? Dino did Dino pass away? Are you fucking kidding me? For real? God damn, there's another one that bites the dust. I did not know that. I hadn't seen any lives or anything like that in a while. It didn't really I didn't really think about it. Damn, no shit. No shit. It's another one bites the dust. That's the thing too, man. It's like, I don't know too much about his personal life, but I mean, you think about it, like the only thing that we've got to remember Dino is fucking like if his all his fucking videos and live streams and shit stay here on YouTube for a while. I mean, you know, I don't know if his channel was taken down or what or what. I haven't even been over there in a while. I mean, I haven't noticed anything coming up, so I haven't gone over there. But no shit, that's fucked up. It's just another one. Yeah, I'll have to go back and I'll go I'll go check his channel out, man. And now you mentioned it and seeing what was the last thing he did and all that kind of stuff. But because I was sitting there talking about the legacy thing, uh, you know, other than like what junk that I've got here at the house, um, what will be my legacy that I leave behind? And it's probably one of the things that people can go back and look at, kind of like old photos, is coming through my channel after I pass away and seeing all the old videos and stuff like that, hearing my voice and all that stuff. It'd be like going through an old photo album and seeing old pictures of people and shit. You'll be able to. That'll be one of the legacies that I leave behind, however long it stays on the internet. However long my channel stays intact until YouTube deletes it. You know what I mean? But I'll have to go back. I'll have to check. I'll have to go over there and check and think about it. Uh, I think I might do that now. But it's getting around 3 hours and 30 minutes, almost 30 minutes. So it was a there was a lot of subjects covered and stuff. So I'm gonna cut it short, y'all, and go wander around YouTube and I'm gonna go over to Dino's channel and check it, check out like what the last thing and stuff like that. Maybe pay my respects, kind of thing. And anyway, y'all have a good one out there. Everybody that came into chat, everybody that's still here now. Um, I really appreciate all you guys that came in. Um, I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip side. Double one, double two, wing that radio back out.